Everybody. Hi, teacher Coleman, Mr. Sham, and everybody.
Hello.
Hello. So just drop us a quick comment or emoji, okay? How are you feeling this morning? This morning we have, okay, I'm teacher Mavis. You would have seen me if you joined us as a P6 student. Mr. Sham, you're familiar with her as well, and Dr. Coleman. He's a very experienced teacher as well. He teaches from like P1 to Sec 4 and then a range of abilities. So he's also very experienced and he's here to join us today to share with you useful tips and pieces of advice. Okay, so where are our hello? Is everybody there? Drop us an emoji. Tell us how are you? We are days away from receiving the posting results, etc. Okay, it's a very exciting time. Oh, great. It's a very exciting time and a lot has gone on. And now we are just waiting patiently. And yesterday I was telling Mr. Sham and both of us are very okay to meet all of you because we haven't met you for some time since the previous the boot camps and all that. So today, we call it the Jumpstart Workshop, right? Oh, let me share my screen. Now, I we have shared the PDF, the workshop materials via Luma, but if you have not downloaded it, you can download it. Okay. So in thank you, Sweaty. Yeah. So in other P6 workshops, we were preparing you for the exams, to score, etc. Today's session, today's workshop is not so intense, okay? You're not here to prepare for an exam. You're not here to score A's. You're just here to get an idea so that you feel more mentally prepared when you enter secondary school. Okay, so come here today with curiosity, okay, an open mind, willingness to learn. And if you have any question about secondary English, please just ask us. Okay, just ask us. We'll spend some time on Q&A and let's make this interactive and spontaneous. Okay? So we do have materials. There are notes and some practices. We'll focus on some things that are a bit different from primary school. Okay, and some notes, I won't go through like line by line with you. There are some notes you can read on your own, and the teachers here will just highlight some important things we want you to take note of. Okay, so can we just have a show of hands? How many of you joined us for all the P6 webinars, boot camps, supplementary sessions? Raise your hands. Okay, raise your hands. Yeah, we see some familiar names. No, did you miss us? Okay, so all of you have this document. Okay, it'd be easier for you to follow if you have this document. Okay, welcome back everybody. So let's get started. Okay, again, feel free to ask questions in the chat or in the Q&A. Now, for English in secondary school, during the P6 boot camps or webinars, Mr. Sham and I would have said, you will still need this skill. You still need this skill in secondary school, okay? So don't throw away these skills, etc., etc. And we say we'll tell you more after the PSLE. So now is the time. We're going to tell you more. In general, in secondary school, you are going to take a variety of subjects, right? Like geography, history, literature, etc. And while you think that, oh, these are just other subjects, but when you look at the English paper or the past year papers, you realize that all your education or your learning in these other subjects are going to help you better understand and conquer the English paper. Because when it comes to comprehension passages, you will no longer be looking at Singaporean context sort of text. In your PSLE, you see names like Mei Ling, Karab, Courage Primary School. Very local context, right? So it's very familiar to Singaporeans when you read PSLE comprehension, for example. But if you take a look at the O-level comprehension passages, they are very often not set in Singapore. They are not necessarily set in this time, modern day. They don't have to be. Okay. So as you progress and you become a teenager, you no longer just live in your cave, okay, in your bubble. You're going to read and find out about the world. You're going to study all these subjects, and they'll help you understand the world around you better, and also, of course, help you tackle the English paper more confidently. Also impacting your essay writing. So today we are going to focus on paper one, especially on essay. I think you can share a little bit about situational writing as well, because that's a huge difference, right? We'll look at comprehension. Okay, now there is not just one comprehension, there are three comprehensions, and we are going to look at oral. So there's a difference what you're going to do at secondary level. Okay? So thank you, Mr. Shang, for the reminder. Okay, let's take a look at comprehension first. So all of you have this, and then there's this little mountain where there is this jump. So in primary
Before
school,
we actually start, shall we tell them how paper two is like? Just for a
yes, yes,
starter. Yeah,
yes.
because in primary school, your
Mm,
understanding is like comprehension is that
mm,
dreadful section right at the end. 20 marks. And then many of you were so worried
mm,
about it. Now, in secondary school, there are
mm,
three types of comprehension. Okay, so
mm,
what you will see is that what we have prepared you in primary six translates itself into a very heavy paper two. We can type
mm,
somewhere at the side, the second mountain on the right. You have 5 marks for visual text comprehension. So no more MCQs, rather you have to write in sentences or follow instructions like put a tick or to circle the best word that describes a certain person's tone or intention. Then you have a comprehension B, which is narrative text. So teacher Mavis said just now, you're used to a local context, having a clear moral of the story kind of passage. But in secondary school, all you have is a narrative text. It can be taken from anywhere. It could be a blog, it could be a personal comment, a personal column. It could be taken from a classic, or it could be taken from a literature book, anywhere, so long as it is of a fictional nature or autobiographical nature. So that is 20 marks. So what you are used to now falls under text B only. This is the closest you get to your PSLE paper. Text 3 is 25 marks. So this is where you have to listen very, very carefully. There are 10 marks worth of questions, new questions you have to deal with, and there is something new called summary. So it's 10 marks plus 15 marks. So your whole paper next year, at the end of the year, you will, if you sit for papers 1 to 4, paper 2 will be very, very heavy. Okay, 17 marks. Did I get this right? Sorry, 50 marks altogether. 50 marks altogether.
yes. And there's
So
no
now we
more,
can show them the big and small mountains back there
there is
again.
no,
Actually,
in PSLE,
for the visual text, there's two.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not just
two
one visual
texts.
text. There's two parts to it. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
later we'll,
Luckily, they are used to the two parts now,
yes.
because the PSLE also have two parts. So everything actually is relevant, what you have learned. Don't throw them away. It's a matter of whether you see MCQs anymore from now onwards.
So in secondary school, paper two, we no longer have MCQ, fill in the blanks. It's just comprehension. These three would make up paper two. Okay? So this mountain, okay, so there are some things that you're familiar with already in primary school. And if you compare the PSLE papers now to the ones maybe 5 to 10 years ago, the PSLE paper that you have done, it would have better prepared you for secondary school, okay? Because you're looking more at inferential questions, even evaluative questions. So all these skills are still relevant. All the annotations we have taught you, all the exam techniques, they're still relevant, and you need to continue to use them as you move on. Okay, so that is primary school. Now, moving on to secondary school, Mr. Shah mentioned there are three components. So today we are going to just explore these components. Okay, you'll see more of that in school. Now, depending on your school, because we have taught so many students, yesterday Mr. Shum and I were talking about this. depending on your school and how they want to plan their curriculum, you may not be exposed to all components in Sec 1 in your school. Some schools do, some schools don't. So maybe some schools in Sec 1, they don't cover summary at all, or they don't cover situational writing at all. It is possible. But at my stretcher, we start you off with all the components, okay? Because it takes time to build these skills. So today, whatever we are covering with you, if when school starts and go, my school doesn't cover it, it doesn't mean it will never cover it. It will just come later, okay? It will just come later. So let's take a look at visual text comprehension. Now, in PSLE, this component was, the 5-mark MCQ question with 2 texts. Okay, so you just have to pick an option, and that's about it. But at secondary level, they are often open-ended. Okay, often open-ended. So now you have to construct your own sentences, and there are certain ways of structures you have to use to answer specific questions. And of course, whatever you have learned, the basic skills at primary level, now you are expected to dive deeper into the text. So you're supposed to know how to interpret visuals more sharply, okay? Recognize the use of language for impact. This is throughout paper 2. Whether it's comprehension, visual text, narrative or non-narrative, there will be questions testing your ability to understand the use of language and why and how it's effective, okay? The purpose of the visual text, whom is it targeting, and the questions are open-ended. Now, there's a student who is asking Nicole, are we supposed to do the questions? Well, if you have read and tried the questions, it'll be good. Okay, so you get an idea. But we're just going to go through it with you, and you can see it's the similarity and difference, okay? So let's take a look at a sample. Let's take a look at this sample, okay? Thank you, Mr. Sham. Now, there are 2 texts, like we say, and these 2 texts are linked. Like in PSLE, right? One, it's a visual, a poster, and then the other is just pure text. And they're linked. They might be different text types, right? But they're linked in terms of theme and what they're talking about. So for this one, as you can tell, okay, just zoom out for a while. Text 1 is taken from an online brochure. So it's something that is visible to everybody, okay, on a public platform. And whoever visits this website, of course, they either stumble upon it or they want to know what to do to help save the environment. The other text is taken from a public forum. What kind of public forum? When you read the text, you can infer, because there are so many types of public forums, right? So let's take a look at text 1 briefly, okay? So I'm not going to read line by line, but what are the things you see in the text like that? The headings, the key pieces of information, graphics, right? And since this is an online brochure, there is some sort of a link, hyperlink for users to click so that they can submit images. So this is what the readers or the target audience can do, right? Now, text 2, if you have read it, you can take a look at it. I live on the 35th floor of Block 16, the level beneath the Sky Garden. Okay, it's a resident. Who is the writer? Resident. During weekends, festive seasons, my neighbors and I endure much rowdiness. So this person is saying, I'm suffering. I'm suffering from noise. I'm suffering from litter. And smell, not nice smells, odor. Okay, I have submitted countless photographs. I have done this. I have done this. But no action has been taken. Then he asks a rhetorical question. He says, what is the use of asking us to submit images and you, the town council, don't do a single thing? So this is like a complaint, okay? Very upset resident. They are linked because they're all related to Dorchester Town Council, related to the cleanliness of the living environment. Okay, so you have a text like that, not unfamiliar to you in PSL, you have something like that. Here comes the questions. Okay, so as you can see on your copy, there are all these lines, but to facilitate today's discussion, we've given you multiple choice questions, okay? But in the exam, of course, it's just a line. So you can try now. Let's take a look at the first question. There are different kinds of question in visual text comprehension. One kind would be something you're familiar with, where they ask you to identify a phrase. And then they say a phrase that tells you. Okay, so let me keep my highlighter on. Tells you that the litter causes direct harm to human beings. So you know, as part of your PSL, after all the training we've given you, which one is the best? Okay, just put your answer in the chat. Okay, which one is the best answer? The one that addresses all the requirements of the question. Let's go. Let's go.
Not bad. They didn't get tricked. You see, so in primary school, we nagged at you to death about underlining the keywords. Right, here's direct harm to human beings. That means you and I. So those who chose a certain alphabet, did you check? To human beings only. So
Okay.
D
is incorrect because there's
some of them are sharing their grades. Now, yes, your PSL is over. Okay, you get your AL score. The point is now, all of you are on the same clean slate again. You have to reboot and get used to the new format. So focus on learning, okay? Regardless of your AL score, you have to learn the new techniques and get used to the way questions are being phrased from now onwards.
Yes. Question 2. So question 1 just a warm up, okay? Question 2. This is new to you. In your own words. In primary school, if they want you to infer, they'll just set the question in a way that requires you to infer and not just copy. But at secondary level, because they're also inferential questions, then now they make it more specific. If they want you to express something in your own words, they do not want you to copy the keywords from the text. So we have put in the clue here. This is the clue, okay? Most litter eventually ends up in the ocean. How does littering harm the environment? How? In what way? Ooh, let me see if I can type. Yes. In what way, okay, does littering harm the environment? So the clue from the text. Oh, you're giving me your answer. You're giving me your answer already, is it? Okay, are you sure? Let's take a look. Firstly, I do not want to use the word most. I need to put it in my own words, okay? OW. But even if you just change all these things, all these words, and then use synonyms, you're still not answering the question. Because I'm not asking you to rephrase this clue in your own words. I'm asking you, how does it harm the environment? The litter poisons the ocean. How? Don't know. So it cannot be A. Most litter floats in the ocean and kills things. Question mark. So at this point, I want to just, and I'm sure my colleagues here also remind their students, don't express your ideas in using very vague words like things or stuff or what things. Okay, just floating around and they kill things. So this is also not the answer. We see, wow, Rishi, very ambitious. D, B, and C. You give me 3 answers. No. Okay. Now, most has been put in my own words using a large majority. So it's C or D, right? Now, if you look at the rest of the sentence, we are looking at harm the environment. Is it C or D? The ocean is the environment. How? It pollutes. What is the environment? The ocean. Littering is the word rubbish. I put it in my own words as well. You see? So I've transformed most, I've transformed litter, okay? And then I answer the question, pollutes environment, the ocean. So when it's multiple choice, you go, oh yeah, now I draw arrows, right? The challenge is in the exam, there are no options. You have to phrase everything on your own and you have to take the steps. What's the clue? What must I put in my own words? How do I phrase my answer so that I'm answering the question? So there are several steps to take to arrive at the right answer. Okay? So the answer is D. D is the right answer. Okay, so far let me see. Are there any questions? Okay. What about question 3? Question 3 is new. Though in PSLE they might set this as a question 4 possible, question 4, okay? Or they want you to compare two texts. So that kind of skill that you need, where you need to look at two things and you ask yourself, how are they linked? Or how are they mismatched? Over here, there are two things. One, it's the image of the superhero. And then the keyword relevant. The second thing you want to look at is the message of the web page. So there is A and there's B. And they're asking you, how are these two linked? Like, what's their relationship? How do they help each other? Okay? So take a look at the options. That's very new. So there is a technique actually to phrase your answer for such a question. Let me give you 5 seconds. Share with us your answer. Yes, Mr. Sham is right. Precision. Precision is key.
Mavis has given you a clue. She put A and B. So whichever choice you choose, it should reveal what the message is like, and therefore how the message is linked to what you should do. So I think this section, Mavis, always punishes people who skip straight to what they think the point is without processing it. So in secondary school, you need to learn not to just get straight to that point right at the end. You need to derive it by literally addressing what the image shows and then link it to the message of the web page. So what's the message of the web page? What is the web page telling you?
What is the web page telling you to let me move up. Yeah. What is the web page telling you? Message.
The web page is asking you to do your part. Is it the please do not litter or do your part now? So you got to get that very clear. Is the objective just not littering, or is the deeper underlying message for you? Okay, not just you not littering, but you need to do something else beyond your own restricting your own urge to be a litter bug. Do your part, right? And you also see that the superhero is next to this portion, not the upper portion. So in short, when you do your part, you are being a super citizen, like a superhero.
So the first thing is, remember there's A and B, right? So when we say the image of the superhero, just tell us a superhero, okay? A. Readers can try their best to save the ocean, or we can do our best to keep the estate clean. Which one? Very tricky because they all show some sort of message, right? One is readers, one is we. Then this is estate, one is save the ocean. Save the ocean.
Yeah, so some of you are not looking at the final words. We are not talking about water, okay? Not the sea, not the seaside. It's always about what we said just now, a Dorchester estate. Because there's a little bin, okay? And it's even though the message talks about how sea can be polluted, but do your part there literally has to do with what you do on land. So be very, very careful. So you see how easy it is to lose 1 mark. So out of 5, I'm not scaring all of you. Mavis, what's the average mark when you leave them to do this on their own in class?
In general, at Sec 1, based
What
on my
about Coleman?
experience, would be like many students start off getting 1 or 2
1
marks.
out of 5? Yes.
Yeah,
Some
1 out of,
0.
yeah, some zeros, yes.
0 and 1 are frequent.
Yes.
0 and 1 are very frequent,
Because they
yes.
underestimate it. They think that it's
Yeah, everything looks so simple.
easy. Yes,
Yes.
correct. But they did not realize the importance of the accuracy involved in this.
And some of them will say, I've got to do so much thinking for 1 mark. It's not whether it's 1 mark or 2 mark or 3 marks. The point is, the minute you see how, this is the thing you need to take note in secondary school. The minute you see how, it means you have to explain. You cannot just, it shows.
Yes.
So this is the big tip. Please carve it somewhere, okay? The minute you see how, which you will see in literature, you see in history and geography, it means you need to explain. You cannot just say, it shows. How? How does it show? Number 4 is also another trap. It looks so easy. Look at text 1 and 2. Circle this or that. So a lot of students will rush through this. 5 minutes, they're done. And that's when they find themselves with a 0. Also follow instructions. Circle. To this day, I think even for editing, they don't circle or they forget to circle. If you don't follow instructions, you underline instead, you will get 0. Okay, so this is what you call comprehension. You cannot say, but that is not the point of the test. It tests English. True, you are tested on whether you can read English instructions in English. So circle. So what are all your guesses? Text 1, text 2, both, neither. There are 4 choices here. If you think MCQ is very easy.
This is
text
a target
A.
audience.
Which text is only talking to people in Singapore? Then text B. The writer of the text uses an admonishing tone. So what we are trying to show you here, what we are showing you here is this. What we did in primary 6, beefing up your vocabulary. Anyone here can share. What is an admonishing tone? Scolding. Yes, reprimanding. How many of you did not know this? This is why last year you did your paper booklet A. You had the section on vocabulary in context and vocabulary, right? You were taught many, many, many different words.
Some of them are giving us the answer, but I'm not sure which question you're answering. Okay, for A. What is the answer for A? Tell us. A.
Which text?
Okay. A. Living in Singapore. Singapore is very big, very big. Okay. Are you sure it's Singapore? Really? Where? Isn't it Dorchester?
Who is the advertiser? This is the thing. Who is the advertiser? You cannot say, oh, there's no logo. I can't tell. Okay, all posters need to have some kind of endpoint. If they want you to do your part for where? Who is sponsoring this message? Would be the place that needs your cooperation most. So it doesn't say clean up Singapore, right? Submit images to the Dorchester Town Council. So
it is neither. Okay, it's neither. It's not Singapore, it's Dorchester. Part of Singapore, could be a part of somewhere. Actually, I'm not sure where is Dorchester, to be honest. Okay.
My estate.
Your estate, Mr. Shelf's estate. What about B? What about B? You must be able to justify your answer. And we have been doing this in primary school as well, right? You must always be able to justify using evidence from the text. So for admonishing tone, if you say both, then you need to show me in text 1 who is scolding whom. Is there anyone reprimanding anybody?
Is it a scolding tone? Just because teachers tell you, we want you to do
Do your part.
working, you need to be very careful when you look at us. Are we scolding you? What's the difference between
Yeah.
scolding and warning? That is the thing. So in secondary school, a lot of students who like to use vague answers like it's a negative tone, it's a bad tone, it's a bad attitude, you are in trouble. Because stern is not necessarily bad.
Yes. This is very severe, you know, like someone shouting in your face, okay? It's quite severe. Okay?
Yes.
So text
Yeah.
two, huh? He's this Joshua is basically saying the council, you're not doing your job, okay? It's really
Yes. You guys are
scolding.
useless in short. He is
Yeah.
actually implying you are ineffective. Stop asking us what
Yes.
to do because even if we do, you are not going to take any action. So what's the point?
Mm.
So he's actually scolding.
Mm.
Very fierce.
Okay. So how many marks did all of you get for
Yes. What
for
marks
this
do you
one?
get? Or give us an emoji. How you feeling? Can you imagine if week 1 your teacher throws you a practice set like that?
Yeah. There's no need to cry. It takes time to develop skills, right?
Yeah,
So
it takes
we need
time
to
to get
be patient
used
as
to it.
well. Okay, we just need to be patient. But every time we learn or come across something, we use the opportunity to beef up or to improve our ability.
Yeah.
Then you will eventually get it. Okay?
I've
So this is
actually
just a
seen
yeah.
those doing NA, normal
Mm.
acad. I have
Or
seen
G2.
say in my son's WAs, sometimes they would put visual text together with comprehension. So they have a
Okay.
comprehension passage, but one
Mm.
of the question has a visual inside.
Mhm.
Yeah, so schools can be very, very creative about how they want to test you for visual text comprehension, not necessarily on its own. So it really depends on your Sec 1 teachers.
Yeah. So don't whatever your school throws you, uh, try it and learn the skills. Okay, because all schools are preparing their students for the eventual exam, right? In year four in Sec 4. So whatever your school throws you, learn. Okay? This is just a quick summary table of the differences between what you did at PSLE and what you're going to come across. And there's things that we want to highlight to you. Actually, we have earlier on. So this is just a summary. Now you're expected to structure your responses and in a just it being in a complete sentence and it being grammatical is not enough. It must answer the question. Okay. So what kind of like when a question uses when you see the word how in a question, how should your answer look like? Okay. Or when you say A how is A relevant to B? How does your answer look like? So the examiners are looking for specific structures which show that you're answering the question. Okay. Analysis and evaluation at secondary level, like I mentioned, they are testing. Do you know how words are used in a way to achieve a goal? What is the technique used? So they can ask you questions related to that. Okay. And this comes up a lot more. Why, how is this writer speaking? What's the tone? What's the attitude behind this tone? How did the writer use language to get a point across? Okay, so evaluative kind of questions. And of course, at secondary level, um, the precise vocabulary. Okay, because examiners, I mean, we all have an answer scheme and we are looking for something that's really based on whether the thing that I've quoted, for example, from the text, okay, or a particular part in the text where I want you to zoom in. So precise vocabulary, and we don't stop building vocabulary, right? As you move on in secondary school, you're going to expand your vocabulary. Okay? Yes, thank you, Dr. Coleman. Nothing to be afraid of, huh? This is just part and parcel of life. All of us have gone through this, okay? And then we grow in the process. This is just a taster, okay? Don't worry. Okay, narrative comprehension. Like I mentioned earlier on, in primary school, Mrs. Shaw mentioned as well, there is a story, okay, from either first person or third person, and they share a scenario. Very often in primary school, the story ends well. Like there is a closing, there is a moral of the story, Okay. At secondary level, the selection of text or extracts from text, they might just end off at a particular scene. But that's not the whole story because the extract can be taken from like a novel, for example, okay? They might have taken a page or two from that particular novel or text. So you don't get a full complete story. Okay, it's just a part of it. For this section, there are some things we want to highlight. Okay, you will see questions related to figurative language. So I think we have covered this to some extent during our boot camps when we say, can you identify the similes or the personification? Okay, when you move on to secondary school and you do literature, your lit teachers will also remind you, teach you all these things again. Okay, so you apply them when you do the English paper. You need to show that you can infer feelings and emotions or themes or main ideas in different parts of the text. Okay, and then there's this flowchart question. Later on, we'll take a look. So in general, you will see keywords like that in the questions, okay, like in your own words. What is unusual and effective? Okay, this later on we'll take a look. This is challenging, but there's a formula to answer such questions. Once you get a formula right, you'll be fine. Okay, you'll be fine. But I'm not sure Mrs. Shum, Mr. Coleman, some of my students until Sec 3 still very resistant, want to answer questions like that in their own way, and then they still don't get marks.
Yes, this is how they answer this. It shows, it is
It shows.
effective. They go straight to the it. They ignore the unusual or what needs to be explained.
Yes.
Actually,
So,
they know this, because when they write composition, we ask them to do show not tell. We ask them to use rhetorical questions, start with a great hook. All these are the how to achieve a certain effect. So you actually have it in you to deal with all of these already.
yeah. Okay. I think because Mrs. Sham and I, we teach secondary school also. So when we taught all of you to prepare for PSLE, we've already put in a lot of tips that would help you in secondary school. Okay, so all these things, keep them and then use them. Let's take a look at a mini exercise. Okay, so you can just do it on the spot. These questions have no text. Okay, they're just based on this quote. Just based on this quote. Happiness soared to the skies, cackling mischievously as it teased the clouds. Okay, so question 1. Identify a word in the above lines which suggests. Okay, so suggest means tells you. Okay, a word only, so all of you know if you quote more, it is wrong. Okay, so quickly give me your answer. Just look at this quote. Which word suggests a loud sound? Which word suggests a human action? Not meaning, suggests. Okay, it tells you. Okay, cackling, very straightforward. So, it's a sound. Cackling is a sound somebody makes. Okay.
Not
Okay.
cackling mischievously. We want only the sound, not the way it is made. So that some of
More
you
importantly,
got to be
one word.
careful. Yes, one word,
One
a
word.
word. So you see, all your training from primary school is you're really using everything you've learned. Everything you've learned to get that one mark. Okay, a word. But they got teased correctly, not mischievously. Mischievously, animals can also be mischievous. Okay, so teased.
Okay. Then, so, okay, let's say identified both correctly. What about the second part? Identify the figurative device, okay? What is this? When someone expresses an idea like that, what device are they using? If you have studied our model compositions at P6, etc., this is not new to you.
Kara got it, yes. No, not
Happiness?
happiness. It is the figurative device, not what is being figuratively described. So
Yeah.
what are figurative devices? You've learned simile, personification, metaphor, hyperbole, imagery, and personification. Yes, so we gave you some clues. Happiness cannot fly to the sky. It's not a bird, huh? It teased the clouds. I think the main part falls on tease the clouds. They're having fun. Just like
Okay.
children playing and teasing each other.
Human qualities, okay? So it's personification. Oh, why is Kyra crying? Okay,
Yeah, so there you go. 3 marks.
3 marks, huh? Low hanging fruit, right? Low hanging fruit.
So
Once you
it
get
looks
it
so
becomes low
easy.
hanging
That's
fruit.
the thing. Yeah. So that's why you need to start practicing.
Okay, so this is an unusual and mood question. So there'll be unusual, effective. This is unusual and mood. So in primary, I think we come across this not so much in primary school. When something is unusual, what you expect does not match what you see.
In
Okay.
primary school, they ask it, why do you think the writer
Uh,
wrote it this way? It is that kind of question, right, Mavis?
yes. In the
What did the
language or
writer
impact.
intend to do? So it
Or why
intended
is
to
this
show or intended to make you feel something.
yes, or why is this strange or something like that? Once in a while, you get a challenging 1 mark question like that. Okay, so what's unusual means thing just does not, is not how we usually express an idea. Okay, and then the second part is mood. What's mood?
The second part is easier to answer. If they can get the second part correct, they can try to force an answer for, for one. Okay, so
The
all of
mood
you
of this
must know
line.
this. What is unusual means what is weird, what is odd, what cannot
Mm,
be, what cannot happen. So can all of you
mm.
put in the chat what literally is weird about the description? Happiness soaring to the sky, teasing the cloud.
It can also mean the normal use of the word. Yes.
Yes.
So the word is normally used this way, but now it's used a little bit strangely, a little bit abnormally. So you have to explain
Yes.
why is it abnormal, and then you tell me what it means. Yes.
Yes. Hui Mei and Rishi said, happiness soaring to the sky is weird. Rishi says you can't tease the cloud. Yes, but you have to explain it. You can't just say happiness cannot tease the cloud. Why? You know, maybe we give them a simpler example. Some of you like to say things like, my head is about to explode. Can your head explode? Why? Why not? What is the hidden metaphor? You say, my head's going to explode. What is the metaphor? Your head is not a dynamite. It cannot go off, right? So that is the thing. So where is it here? Why can't you tease a cloud? Why can't happiness soar to the sky? Why? Why? This is what your cousin in kindergarten would ask you.
Yeah.
So you have to say happiness is a feeling.
Yeah.
It's a feeling. It's not something like an airplane or a bird that can literally fly in the sky or rise up in the sky, like a balloon even.
Okay, so to show that oh, this is not how we usually talk about happiness. Okay, and happiness cannot do these things. Yes, Kara. Very good attempt. What about the mood? Happiness is cackling mischievously, it's soaring. So the mood, how the text, what feelings does the text evoke in us? It's very lively, very cheerful, very playful. Okay, it's as if happiness is playing mischievously. So all these are possible answers. Okay, possible answers.
You cannot say the mood is happy. Happy is your mood. Where here, mood here refers to atmosphere. So you've got to read the question very carefully. It's not the mood of a person. The mood here is of the whole setting of the atmosphere. So again, now you also learn a second thing. Some words you can use to describe both setting and people. Some words are more suitable for atmosphere of a place. So you will get this very, very frequently. What is the atmosphere in paragraph 1? So you have to be very sharp. It is suspenseful. You cannot say frightened. Frightened is how you are supposed to feel after reading something spooky. Suspenseful or tension is the mood answer word. All right, all of you, are you taking down notes? Yes, Nicole, you got it correct. Yeah.
So, like in primary school, when it comes to comprehension, as long as you show that you have really understood and you use precise words to express your understanding in a way that answers the question, you'll get the mark. Okay?
I think in primary school, they did this, it's usually a circling or tick, right? Towards the end, like tick 2 words that best describes Mei Ling's mood. Or tick
Though
2 words that best, yeah, they
Though
have
that
all
doesn't
these
come
mood
out that
questions.
much anymore. It doesn't come out that
Yeah,
much. I
not
think
so
they're making it more
much.
challenging now. Yeah, so maybe it would come back. I'm not sure.
When
Yeah, but
P3 and 4, definitely they did
yes,
such questions.
definitely. Yes. Okay, so in secondary school, there are no true false questions. They could phrase it in another way, which requires you to again infer or provide evidence, but you don't see that true false box anymore. Okay, and then there is no numbering like 3, 2, 1 or something like that. They can make you do that again using another question format. Okay? So today we are going to take a look at, again, I'm not diving deep, trying to prepare you for comprehension exam, okay? We're just going to look at some question types and discuss them, okay? So there are all these questions at secondary level. There's this flow chart question that you will see later, okay, and own word questions. The rest, to some extent, you have done these in primary school. So if you have read the text, for those of you who downloaded it earlier on, and I said, at secondary level, they can take something from a particular novel, a book. It's not necessarily set in Singapore. It's not necessarily set in 2025. Okay? It could be set much earlier. And when you read this text, I want you to guess, when is this set? Which year? Okay? See, how do I know? That's why you study history. That's why you are going to study history, okay? Um,
When
so
is it set? Where is it set? You
yes.
can no longer say IDK. There are clues. That's why when you do, just now somebody had a good joke like teachers are lit because you said lit teachers, right? Okay, put aside your Gen A slang, okay? Literature is about reading closely text, gleaning the meaning, not meaning the intended intentions of the writer, and there are clues scattered all over. So you are no longer just expecting the 5 W's and 1 H to be there in your face. You have to read, feel what the writer is putting across, the mood or the character of the person. That is what literature is about. So actually narrative comprehension, that's printed there. Stephen used to also remind all our students, narrative comprehension is actually a mini literature test in a way, because it forces them to analyze beyond the literal, to read between the lines. So those of you who have read this already, which country is this set in? If you even scan just the extra information, the vocabulary list, you would have the answer. Anyone here has done that? Which country is this? Oh dear, it's just right there on the page. I'm asking the obvious.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then there is
where? What kind of place is this? What kind of neighborhood is this? Who stays there? Is it like a mixed neighborhood or what? This is a very interesting neighborhood.
Yes.
Yes, it's for the army. For
Army,
people who
yes.
work for the United States Army.
Yes. What else? What do you
I
think
think
it's
one
set,
thing
the
good about
time?
secondary comprehension, which I think is easier, makes it easier for readers, is at least they tell you where it's from. very often in primary school, it's just read the following passage and answer all the questions. So they
Yes,
do
they'll
give you a
tell you.
title and
Yeah.
author. So
Mm.
some of you who read widely or have seen a certain writer, it helps you frame your mind already.
Mm. So actually in our mind stretcher worksheets at secondary level, we do give a blurb, right? Like at the
Yes.
end, like what's this text about? Because very often it's just an extract. And after reading the Compre, some students were like, I want to read the book. It's interesting. So that's what we do as well. Okay, just want to expand your reading list. Now, when do you think this is set? If Sandia base and says in 1971, it was merged into this Air Force base. Okay, there's a clue in this list. 1970s, and then in the text, you see that the boy has Scooby Doo lunchbox. Let me ask, do all of you have a Scooby Doo lunchbox?
I went
Yes, you
to
do.
Miniso. I
Scooby-Doo?
think Harry Potter is there.
Ah,
Then you have all the pop mart that is coming up. If it's in the recent 5 years, you would see different things. SpongeBob SquarePants, maybe, for
mm.
Americans.
So I went to
Scooby-Doo
look
is like
for
1980s, 70s, 80s.
70s, 80s, yeah. So I went to find a
What's
vintage
Scooby-Doo? Yes.
Scooby-Doo.
Like
Vintage.
Ghostbusters,
It's a comic
Scooby-Doo.
character, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, they go and solve
They
solve like
wouldn't know
mysteries.
Atom Ant for sure. Or Coyote and Roadrunner.
Okay, so this is set not in the present day, okay, around 1970s, 80s. Okay, so that's what we mean by now you need to interact with texts that are not local per se. All right, so this text, let me just give you a summary, okay, of the text. The narrator is a child. The narrator is what we call Mr. Shum. Mr. Shum included this at the bottom. The
Army brat.
narrator is army brat. Okay, right at the end here, an army brat. It's a child. Father works for the military. Okay, and then he lives in this neighborhood. They live in this neighborhood where everyone, uh, all her classmates are military brats as well. And in the military, there are ranks and so on. So somewhere in the text, and we know the narrator's father is a high-ranking military personnel, okay, because my dad's the boss of your dad, okay, so it's high-ranking official. So this child is very mischievous, creates havoc in school and kind of gets away with it. Does not really know how to interact with other children to make friends, okay, ends up bullying, maybe unintentionally, okay, tries to get attention, but does not end up getting friends, okay? And towards the end, there is a description of the mother. So the father goes to the military, works for the military. The mom is at home all the time, just stuck in her room, refuses to cook or do anything. She can't do anything. So if you read widely, if you are aware of, if you have more general knowledge, you are able to infer that the mom might be going through depression, perhaps, okay, because she's just stuck in the room. She cannot function. Um, and it seems like she can't do anything about it, and the children they don't know why she's like that. Okay, so this is the context. Now, if you have tried the questions, let's take a look at the question types. Okay, the question types. So, okay. We have given you some MCQ again in the exams. You will not see all these. They'll just be lines. Okay. Just
Mavis,
to
I think it's
yes,
also
yes,
important
yes.
to tell them in the
Mm,
actual one you see in school, they will
mm.
not have that helpful vocabulary at the back.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, this one is
Yes.
literature. We're trying to assist you and of course to provide you with fuller understanding. But the school, they will I'm sad to say this, they will not be that helpful. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. So
Sometimes
don't
you
get
get a text with
yeah,
a lot of very technical words. Some of them
yes,
will
correct.
not be
Will not
explained for
explain to
you.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get discouraged if you sometimes go to class and teachers just give you a passage and they fold their arms and look at you after that. And then you kind of like, what are we supposed to do? Then you just do the questions, and so don't get discouraged when that happens. Okay, that's why we are here. Okay, come and look for us, and we'll help you and guide you and give you even more independence. Okay, in the end. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Teacher Coleman. It's true.
That's a good
At
point.
at secondary level, again, in general, it's like natural for adults to assume that you're old enough, do it on your own, solve your own problems. But the truth is, all of you are growing. You need guidance.
Yeah.
Okay, teenagers need guidance. All of us need guidance. So
Even words
yes,
like decorations, you know,
yeah,
what are decorations to you? You're thinking things on
yes,
Christmas tree, right? But if you actually have red whitely, or you're
mm,
familiar with how military
mm,
uniforms look, they have all
mm,
these badges and stripes and all that. All these are called decorations. Literally, it decorates the army uniform. But a
yes,
decorated or celebrated person is that he
mm,
has made many achievements. That's why he got those badges.
yeah.
It's not for
It's
show
like
only.
having a trophy on your chest.
Yes.
Many trophies, yeah. Okay, but what you all need to understand is that when you read comprehension B, especially, don't treat it with like, I don't know what is it talking about. I don't know what is it talking about.
Mm,
Because once you have that phrase in your mind, everything blocks out, I don't know. So you're more
mm,
obsessed with I don't know instead of, oh, I want to learn something new here. So you have to treat every passage you read like you're watching a YouTube. Because every YouTube you watch is different, right? It tells you different thing, right? And the first time you watch the YouTube, you may not understand. After you watch it a second time and maybe even a third time, you finally understand. And the more YouTubes you watch, the more you get these YouTubes, right? So YouTube is the new book, right? So when you look at the passage, it's the same thing. The more passages you read, the more you expose yourself to what the world is like, and empathy. I mean, feeling for what other people feel. It's not always about me, about what other people feel. You suddenly find that these passages that you read are more transparent. They are more direct towards you. You know, you get it, as the Americans would say. Okay, you understand what's going on faster and also more deeply.
yes. Thank you, Teacher Coleman. Teacher Coleman highlighted many important things that we tell our students, like empathy and so on. So that's why you also study literature. Okay, everything works together at secondary level. When yes, empathy is a key thing, and it also helps you in your essay writing. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at some of the questions. So you can try on the spot. Okay. Yes. See paragraph one, this kind of question, say, seems quite easy, right? It's in the text. Wait, let me move to this part of the text. Say, it's quite easy. It's here. I've been biting again. So it says, why was the narrator barred from school? She had been biting again. That's the answer. Then the question is this. The examiner will be like, huh? Biting what? It's not precise. It's not precise. So you bite you if you bite into an apple, it's okay, right? You won't get barred from school. So what are you biting into? So if you just simply lift and you say, I answered the question and I use this, it's not precise. We need to know that yes, she had bitten. Somebody, you're not supposed to bite people, okay? And that's why you are banned, okay? Suspended, for example. So this would be the right answer. But this is vague. And you cannot say, but the teacher knows, the teacher has read the passage. Nope, that's not the assumption. Okay? It's your responsibility or the candidate's responsibility to be clear. The teacher's responsibility is to give marks. Okay? Understand and give marks. What about the second question? Just now we saw an own words one in the earlier text. Now this is a narrative text. And in your own words, they don't just say in your own words. There are other keywords like explain fully, 2 marks. What the teachers struggle. What was the teacher struggling with? Okay. So explain fully, 2 marks. Oh, there are two parts to my answer, like what we do in primary school, right? But now there's an extra step. If it's an own word question, you need to go and look at the text first. Step one. where can I find this information, right? Oh, it's here. I see the word struggle. Okay, let me read on. The teacher was struggling with, how was she struggling? Wrestling, okay? Wrestling the narrator until the narrator, fought on to the very end.
So if
So,
all of you have this, you have to highlight. So in a school, what you do, highlighters or your pen comes into very good use. You must find the two things which you need to put in your own words without lifting. So actually, this is quite new to them, maybe. It's not just
yes.
explaining, but in their own
Yes.
words. So which word do you think needs to be put in your own words? Can all of you see which words or phrases do you think? What are the two things you need to put in your own words? If you cannot find them, then surely you are risking no marks. Yeah, risking not getting any marks. What were the two things? Yes, wrestle. So you cannot repeat the word wrestle. Then you cannot do held on. Well, what is holding on? So you see, this is a very rich text. It's very easy to understand. So those of you who listened to our synopsis just now, this girl was suspended from school. And then she's still trying to be funny with a neighbor. And then there's the bit about the mother. Actually, nothing is going on. She's just sitting in front of her house and then still trying to terrorize her neighbor's kid. That's it. But the thing is, beyond that, are you able to imagine the humor in this scene? You just imagine one girl biting another. Then the teacher goes, stop it, the two of you. And then this happens. So how? What should we fill in the blanks on your own? How do we do wrestle? You're going to do WWA, is that?
Struggle and wrestle, these two. If you're struggling to wrestle someone, and you see the word free here is actually an own word already. This is part of the answer. Okay, blank to free the victim's hand or arm. Struggle
Ask
as she
yourself,
tried
is
to
it
wrestle.
easy?
Yeah, if
Is
you
it
say I
easy to do?
struggled doing comprehension, so you
Is
found
it
the
easy?
comprehension very, what's that word? The teacher
Oh,
had,
anybody of you have siblings, huh? Yes, you struggle. If it's ever easy, okay? When I struggle with my younger siblings, okay? Yeah, when they were young, they bite me. I call them piranha. So anyway, right? And then in the end, I gave up. I bite them too. But the thing is that is it easy?
Yes, they say it's very hard, it's very difficult. Yes. And they want you to explain fully what's this struggle about and why was the teacher struggling? Explain fully. So yes, okay,
yeah.
she's struggling. Why? Because the narrator held on. Held on with what? Her mouth.
Held on means what? She did not,
Okay? Did not.
what did the girl refuse to do? She won't release her jaws, isn't it?
Yes, her jaws. Yes.
Sounds like a shark. Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
exactly what she was.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
This girl is savage, huh?
So if this looks very unfamiliar to you, yes, it's reasonable. It must look unfamiliar to you because you haven't even started secondary school. But if you see something like that, it shouldn't shock you in school, okay? Because I've seen this before. Now let me learn and try to do it, okay? Okay, this is own words, more challenging. This is another kind of inferential vocabulary question, right? They give you a phrase and they're not asking you what does the phrase mean. They're asking you what does this phrase tell you about something or someone. Lawns are lawns. Lawns are not humans. So they're asking you, what does well-mowed lawns tell you about a group of people? So if you live in this house and you mow your lawns very well, okay, there's no overgrown weeds or grass and all that. What does it tell you about? What does it tell us about you as a person? What kind of person are you if you make sure that your lawn is well mowed, the grass not growing too tall? Discipline. Oh, discipline's a bit
Good.
strong.
But at least
But
she
they're
can
getting
get it.
there. Very good. Very
Getting
good.
there, getting
They're
there.
getting
But
there. Yes.
people who are, yes,
Hmm.
tidy, people who likes
Mm,
to keep things neat and
Hmm.
tidy.
yes.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
they pay a lot of attention to keeping things very, very neat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Why,
So
why do
After a
you think
while,
this is so?
after a while, it becomes detrimental, because my students see
Yes.
putting my pens neatly side by side in class, and because we train them to do this, right? Then suddenly I'm accused of being OCD, and this.
And
yeah.
this
So this
detail is interesting. You think about it, they're living in a military kind of estate.
Yes,
What
correct.
is a characteristic of military people, all of you? Some of you might go into NCC, Red Cross. Why are they called uniform groups? They're trained to be precise. They're trained to be always on task, trained to be very neat. Yes. Right? Because you wear your uniform, it has to be starched, hair needs to be crew cut. Everything must be very neat and on point. Well done. So this is part of it. So even the house, the way the house appears is also very,
mm,
very neat.
so at secondary level, you will notice once all of you, begin your journey, you'll notice that questions in primary school, I say, oh, this is a literal question or this is an inferential question. But by secondary school, you'll get a lot of hybrid. There are several things you need to unpack before you can arrive at the right answer. Like first, if you don't know what is well mowed, you don't know what is a mower, it's hard, right? And after you know what is a mower and you know it's well mowed, then your next question is about the neighbors must I say? Do I talk about their appearance? Do I talk about their personality? Do I talk about their likes and dislikes? So there are multiple levels to go through, but with practice, these will come faster to you. Okay, this will come faster to you with practice. Like what teacher Coleman said, once you've gone through, read many, many texts and tried many, many questions, they'll start to look familiar. You start to see a pattern. Okay. Now, of course, at secondary level, okay, yes, you still get your table questions. They don't totally eliminate it. There's still a table question, but not many. Okay, like this one. 3 marks, low hanging fruit, right? And they have given you an example. It's in complete sentence. So in primary school, you say, teacher, do I write this in complete sentence? If they've given you an example and it's in complete sentence, your answers again should be in complete sentences. If they don't, then you just write in a complete sentence because that's usually no one's going to fault you for writing in a complete sentence. Okay. So this question, if you have tried, you can't just fill in anything into these blanks. You have to take a look. Clothes, accessories, what are accessories? Things that you put on, sunglasses, chains, rings, movements. That means we are looking at behaviors, your verbs, physical appearance, something that you can see. Okay, so they have marked out line 16. Oh, yeah. So in secondary school, you notice that the lines are numbered. Okay, the lines are numbered. And they
They're
will, for
even
primary
put
school
in
as well.
bold for you.
Yeah, they'll bold it for you. Okay. And so if they say line 16, around there, you go and look for line 16. Okay, line 16 is around here. It's a short paragraph, but they describe the men. So they say, oh, the men, they walk in a certain way, tall and purposefully. They have the same haircuts. Okay. And they wear glasses. Now, if you match these to the table requirements, this is your behavior. This is the appearance, right? And this would be the accessories, right? Now you just have to put them in complete sentences. Okay? So accessories, they wore the same pair of glasses, so they all really look the same. Okay? Movements, they walk tall and purposefully, again in complete sentences. And lastly, oops, they had the same haircut. That's all. 3 marks. Okay? Don't need to put anything in your own words, right? So it's not a word question. It's not really an inferential question. Just write it down as it is. Okay? So that's pretty straightforward. Now, one of my favorite question types, unusual and effective question. 2 marks. And many students at the start when they see questions like that, they just the natural instinct is, I'm not going to do it.
Freeze.
It
Yeah.
looks scary. Give up. I'll give you the
They
2 marks. I don't
always
want it.
leave question 1 and these questions blank.
Okay.
Yeah. And a warning,
But
they are increasing the marks for these language
this.
use questions. We call it language use questions. And I've seen in some schools as many as 10 marks out of 20 are such questions. So you cannot avoid them. You just bravely try. You keep trying until one day it clicks in you how to write it properly.
One of the
Exactly.
weirdest answers I got for this is, what is unusual? Oh, it is unusual because it is weird.
Odd.
Full stop.
Yes.
And I was like, okay. And
Yes, I've seen before, like
we'll
describe the
respond like,
irony,
we did
and
not
it's
ask for a pseudonym.
ironic.
Please explain the question.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to explain, okay? You have to
Rishi
explain.
wouldn't have seen this kind of question because they feature in secondary school.
Yes.
Yes, they
Yeah.
feature in secondary
Sometimes they may not give you unusual. They may just say what is effectively being conveyed. So you may not see, we squiggle the word there, unusual. You may not see this, but it means you have to explain exactly why it is so good to be writing in this way.
Yeah,
You
sometimes
still
it's
have
not
to
unusual.
explain.
It could be some other technique, right? It could be some
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
So this is a
Sometimes it's good
particular.
to understand the people who write these things, they are artists. So you ask yourself, why use orange for this when painting this, or blue for doing that? So it's instead of using paint, why do I use this word, or why do I use that figurative language for that? What does it add to the entire feel of the passage? Yeah. So that's how you answer it. Okay, so when you scold your friend and say, I'm going to drag your face through the mud. I mean, why can't you just say, I hate you, finish, right? Yeah, I say, oh, that how effective, no? It shows me that I'm potentially violent. I don't know. Okay, so there you go. Okay, yeah, you explain why is it effective. Okay.
Yes. So unusual. Just now we tried a question about unusual, and we say, happiness cannot please anybody. But this question here is nothing to do with whether music can do something or not, because it's not personification. It's not personification. Now there is the choice of words, like Dr. Coleman was saying, right? When you see the word music, what do you think of? Nice melody. I'm not talking about hard metal, okay? Music, sense of music, melody, melody. Okay,
So this is the thing, right, about imagery. There's tactile, there's visual imagery that makes you hear something. So this is the hearing kind of imagery. Can you just imagine the scene, not seeing it, but hearing it? Read it in your head. There was a sense of music to the slamming car doors and starting engines, a distinct sense of order as each man backed out of his driveway to get to work at the base. Imagine yourself sitting in the front porch of your house. What do you hear? So promptly at a certain time, everyone goes to work. All the army guys or ladies go to work. Is it music? Yeah, it is, because music is synchronized. So there's something very interesting about this description. Music should be melodious. You get a melody. It's pleasant to the ear. What is not pleasant to the ear is slamming car doors. Okay, revving. All these sounds all at the same time. So what is being shown?
Okay. So something.
Yeah, there's a bit of paradox here, right? A distinct sense of order amidst the cacophony of noises. So all these are the little things they need to see. Jarring, yet with uniformity.
What about effective? So I give students that example, right? If you say something is effective, it works. So if I say why is this medicine effective? It works because now I had a headache, I took the medicine and I have no more headache, so the medicine is effective. It works. But in language, when I say why is this phrase effective? It works. In what way? It works in conveying a message. It works in making the readers feel something, for example. So it depends on the quote, right? Why does it work to describe the slamming and the engine sounds as some sort of music. Just now, Mr. Sham actually gave you a clue already. She said there's a sort of rhythm, right? Everyone is doing something at the same time, like boom, boom. You know, when people do the beatboxing, okay, there's some sort of rhythm. So every morning there's that sound. Okay, so why is it effective? How does it work? It shows, and very often effective questions in our answer, we have the word how, okay, because we're trying to explain how everyone was doing the same action at the same time. So there's a rhythm. And when you think about music, you play different instruments at the same time to create a piece of music. Okay? So this is why it's effective. Though it's not melodious, but there's a rhythm to it, like what we do with musical instruments or sounds. Okay? So just a taster of a question like that. Oh, why is my mind stretched a bit dark? Okay. Which expression? So in primary school, they usually tell you 2-word phrase, 3-word phrase, right? They give you the number. At secondary level, they may. Okay. You will see this word expression as well. Expression could be anything, could be a short dramatic
Phrase.
sentence, it could be 2 words, it could even sometimes be 1 word. It just conveys an idea, right? So MCQ to help you out. Which expression from paragraph 5 tells you that the narrator deliberately wanted attention from other children? Deliberately wanted attention. So over in this paragraph, in paragraph 5, right? Okay, our narrator pasted smiley face stickers on her face. Okay, yellow. So imagine they look like pimples. Okay,
You can imagine how
pimples.
ridiculous she looks. These days, there are those acne stickers, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like
Yes, yes,
capybara.
yes.
Can you imagine if you have 100 pimples on your face and you put capybara or smiley stickers all over? That is how
Yes.
ridiculous you would look. So this girl, she goes to the extreme. In school, she bites people. Even now, when being punished, she's trying to do something funny here. So how do you
Yes.
know she purposely wanted people just to notice her? Is it waiting for people to see me? Is it my face decorated in stickers? Or I waited for her to see me there with my face decorated in yellow smiley stickers?
So what's your answer, guys? Remember, whatever you quote has to answer the question, has to meet the question
Yeah.
requirement.
You think about
Deliberately.
recess. How do you deliberately make your friend notice that you're at the doorway? Is it I waited? You wait there and people would see you? Is it only just because you got stickers on your face?
Oh,
You
okay,
can have
we'll see.
stickers on your face, but you can be hiding in a toilet.
Okay, this is just a description, so it's not. This is incomplete. So the answer is to be C. Then you check, right? I waited for her to see me there. This is pretty deliberate. And then wanted attention. How did she gain attention? By pasting stickers on her face. So these two parts, they both address deliberately and wanted attention. Okay? So like that. In the exam, of course, you have to quote. You have to decide what to quote and what not to. Um, and in secondary level, like in primary school, when you quote something, if it's irrelevant, you don't get the mark, right? If you quote too much.
Hmm.
Okay, question 7. Rabies! You have rabies! Okay, so you saw the yellow stickers and I go, rabies! So yep, this is what the examiner wants us to look at. First, she didn't notice, then after that, the girl shrieked, you have rabies! Question. Why do you
Where
think the
did this
girls
rabies thing come from in the first place? All of you? Where did this you have
where do
rabies
rabies
come
come from?
from? Well, what did she do right at the start? She bit
She bit.
someone. Is it literally? Do you think this girl has rabies? That's why adults tell you don't go near stray animals, right?
Yeah,
In
that's her
case they attack
reputation.
you. Yeah, because like stray dogs, stray cats, if they have rabies and they scratch you or bite you, the infection gets through your bloodstream and then you get ill, very ill. So does she have rabies? She's the one biting, you know. Yeah, she's rabid. So how? Why do you think the girl shrieked?
If a student writes, the girl shrieked because she thought the narrator had rabies, wrong, That's so literal, right? Literal understanding of the text. Why did she shriek? Shriek is a behavior. Okay, let me just.
Why
An
do you
behavior is
scream when
often,
somebody
What's
jumps in front of
what's
you
the,
wearing a
what's the
skull
emotion
thing?
behind the
Yeah.
scream?
yeah,
It was
exactly.
too,
What's this emotion, you know?
yeah. We may say shocked.
Not too
It
bad.
was too startled or shocked, can. Horrified.
I would say
Yeah,
80% like
because
shock.
they know her as the girl who goes around biting people and it's very painful.
Yes. Emotional damage, unfortunately, is
Emotional
incorrect
damage.
rated.
Oh dear.
Okay. Secondary level, you will see they'll ask you why something is ironic, why something is humorous. Okay,
Oh,
that's where
yeah.
your learning in literature comes in. So this is like a mini lit test. So over here
Think
they
of
want you
ironic
to
as a U-turn, okay? U-turn, okay? When they say something, but they mean the opposite. You know, someone come to you and say, "Oh, you're so pretty."
oh yes.
So what what do they
Sarcasm is
actually
under that.
mean?
Yes.
Actually,
Yes,
this
yes.
humor thing I deliberately wrote in because humor is one of the hardest things to explain.
Yes.
This is why, you see, now, okay, we can do it online because we can't hear them, right? They cannot be unmuted. There are two numbers that are very popular. This question is one of them. And teachers are asking, what is so funny? Why do you guys like to repeat the same phrases for the sake of it? So how do you explain? Why is saying 6, 7 so funny or so relevant?
I'm excited already.
Yes. Chun Yao, you see, we see that already. So what's so funny? You know, your teachers are always asking, what's so funny? Why are all of you laughing? And you cannot explain yourself because you realize it's not funny at all. There's no purpose. Very good. Some of you don't say it. It gets too annoying.
Yes. Anyway, the trend's dying. Yay.
Yes. The funny thing is the P6s are at it now, but the P4s and 5s are over it already.
Yes. Not sarcastic, yes. So it's humorous. Uh there could be various way of phrasing your answer. You say, oh, it's funny because the narrator does not bite people because she has rabies. She doesn't have rabies, but now she's being accused because she's seen biting people. Okay, so it's quite funny that somebody is screaming at something that is not real. You have rabies! Really horrified, but it's not real. So that's funny for us and maybe for the narrator. Okay, and she's biting because of mischief, not because she has rabies. But the girl, of course, was truly horrified. Okay, that neighbor was
Very good,
truly
Some of
horrified.
you mentioned meme, Yeah. Go and find out
Yeah.
what it actually means, okay? Yeah. Meme, It's pronounced meme. Don't pronounce it as mimi, okay? Thanks.
Mimi. Yeah, it's a meme, not a mimi. It's okay.
Yeah, I got that before. Mimi,
So
so
this
sad.
is
So you see, you cannot say it's funny because it's a meme.
mm,
Then you still have to explain what is so funny about memes. So what if it's a meme? Are all memes meant to be funny then? And therefore you have to go and find the humor in it.
yes. It's like when you try to play a prank on your friend and then you throw a rubber snake. You know it's a rubber snake. You know there's nothing scary about it, but then your friend screamed. So it's funny because it's not real. Okay? Like this question, it's not real. So there's actually
I like
it's quite
Raiden's
funny.
reply.
Okay, next question. A word of your own. It's like an own word question, but you need to infer, so they give you a quote. But
Yes,
there
this
were
is a
giggles.
very cute question.
There were giggles too, because even with my nose to the wall, okay, imagine, I could still turn my feet inward like pigeon's toes, or shake my behind, okay, shake the butt. This person is being punished, face the wall, and this is what she's doing.
In
Does this
America,
tell
I
us about
think a
her?
lot of schools, they will say, they call it the naughty corner, is it?
Yes,
Like
yes.
if kids are naughty, they'll say, go to the naughty corner, go to the back of the class and face the wall. So
Yes.
all of you, again, this is back to imagining. Can you imagine how ridiculous this girl is? After biting someone, She goes on, she's punished, and she's still thinking of shaking her backside, and making her legs look funny. So what does that tell you about her? Yeah. Are you going to tell me she's a humorous person? Is this about being funny, literally?
Person is she's punished. So the context is that
What's
she
the
was being
character?
punished, but she is not behaving in a way that
Imagine
shows
the
that
teacher having to
Like a
type a
time out
report.
corner lah. Yeah.
Yeah. So your answer should sound like, if you're a teacher, you have to text Tilly's mother. Tilly is a most blank girl. I'm going to suspend her from school for a week. What's that word in the blank? She is a very mischievous, very good. They spelled it correctly.
Yes.
Cheeky, playful, attention
Naughty
seeking,
naughty.
naughty.
Yes.
Not annoying girl. She causes annoyance, but you can't really say annoying or irritating girl. That's the effect she creates
Yeah.
when she's in class.
Actually, rebellious quite good.
Yeah, she is rebellious.
Defiant.
She purposely wants to do things to annoy people. Correct.
Yeah. The
I don't
next
think
question.
they
Yeah.
do that in school now. In school, teachers do not send you to corner anymore. Mrs. Sham and teacher Mavis, right? They are girls, so they don't tend to get it. I was from a boys' school. Yes, I've been sent to corner before. Yes.
No, in my school,
So you get it also.
one girl was sent to the toilet to wash her mouth with soap.
Oh my
Then
goodness.
I remember another student was made to stand on her desk for the whole lesson.
Oh, so your
Yes.
school has it.
Yes, Victorian style, very scary.
Oh my goodness.
sent
I
out of
thought I was
class.
the only one, you know.
Some are sent to stand outside the principal's office. So
Yeah.
naturally, the principal would come out and say, "What are all you girls doing here?" Then each would have to explain, "Oh, I forgot to bring my maths homework," or "I said a rude word," or "I did not speak proper English and Miss Tan sent me out," something like that.
So all of you very lucky now, you don't have these things, okay? Yes. Like a flying duster that hits you on the face and things like that, yeah.
No more. Now it's really mild.
Yes,
Correct.
these days, teachers like that will attract complaints.
Yes. Yes. So look at this one. This is new. I don't think they will ask this in primary level unless your school was trying to stretch you, right? The attitude question. So at secondary level, you'll see words like attitude, tone. They come up a lot more. Attitude is just the way someone thinks or feels about something. Okay, so if someone says, you have poor attitude towards your studies, that means you don't care. Okay, when I see books, I'm like, I don't care. So that's your way of thinking or feeling about your studies, for example. So what's the attitude? And not just an attitude, full stop. The attitude towards being disciplined or the idea of being punished. What does she think about how does she feel? Does she feel guilty? Does she think that yes, I'm disciplined, I should learn from my lesson? That's how I feel about discipline. No, like some of you mentioned, she is rebellious, right? She's defiant. She is not going to say, I'm sorry. She's not sorry at all. This is what she thinks about discipline. Well, you can punish me. I'm not going to feel sorry. Okay, I don't care. That's how she feels. Okay, so you see questions like that more, secondary level. Again, own words question. I'm not going to belabor. We saw this earlier on. So she says, my dad's the boss of your dad. And then you see the word boss, and then you see the word own words. So you cannot use the word boss anymore. And you cannot just rephrase it. The narrator's dad is the, and then you find a very simple synonym. So you need to explain fully who are these people, who is being talked about. Okay, who is being talked about in this quote? Explain fully in your own words. So you can say she's emphasizing, she's asserting that my father is of a higher position or rank than your father. Okay, or my father is the superior of your father. Okay, so it takes orders. Your father takes orders from my father. So we don't use the word boss anymore, and we make sure that our answer is complete. Okay, there's nothing left hanging. Okay, The next one, just now we saw attitude, right? The next question is related to tone. Tone means the way something is said. The way something is said. And it's related to word choice, right? What kind of words do you use? Or the way it sounds. So if someone says something now, you hear the voice of that person, you can guess. So just now, teacher Coleman used sarcasm and said, "Your dress is so nice. You're so pretty." The stress on the word "so" like that makes you know, you're not sincere, right? You're trying to be sarcastic. So that's the way it was being said. So when you're reading a text, no one is playing an audiobook.
Mm.
How do you know how it sounds? It's because you understand the relationship between the characters, you understand who the characters are and the context. And that's how you can infer how it sounds like. And
This
you
is
hear it in
where
your
our
mind.
training for them in oral came in. What did we tell you when you had to do reading aloud? How would you read? How would you read what Tilly said to that girl?
Yeah, how would you read it
How would you
aloud?
read it?
You're
Yes,
not
Iris
even
got it. She's very
Mark and
smart.
Harry.
My dad's the boss of your dad.
yes.
You have
Stressing
to
on boss
mimic.
and your.
You have to mimic the emotion, huh? Yes.
Mm.
Yes, it's a very catty, some girls are like that. They're very boastful. Like you are nobody. Your
Mm.
father reports to mine. That's what she's saying. So she's proud, boastful, arrogant, spiteful, cocky. All these will go.
Yeah. So
Number
at
10,
These are
let's have
very
them. We
yeah.
do an experiment. Number 10, ask them to do on their own.
yeah.
And meanwhile, should we give them a 5-minute toilet break or something?
Yeah.
Yes, we can do
Yeah,
that.
do
We
number
can try
10
number 10.
and come back by 11:06.
Mm.
This is a new kind of question. We'll tell you the tips of how to do this better later. 4 marks out of 20. Again, it looks very simple. Fill in the blanks.
Yeah. V is asking, is define okay? I wouldn't put define here. Define is usually you're defying authority, right? But a friend, a person your age is not authority. So I'm not going to use defiant here,
Yeah,
right?
she's not defying anyone. She's just
Mm.
showing off that her father
Mm.
is of a higher position in the army, and therefore she thinks she can go around terrorizing people and bullying them.
Mm. There are so some of you are giving some words, and that brings us to the point. There are certain words you use to describe mood and atmosphere. There are certain words you use to describe tone. There are certain words you use to describe attitude, and they are not always the same. There may be overlaps, but they're not always the same. So if you use an emotion or mood word to answer a tone question, it might not work. Okay? So when do you learn this and how do you learn this? As you move on in secondary school, okay? Your schools may teach you, or lit teachers might provide you with a list, okay? If not, you can always check with your teachers at MindStretcher. Okay, we teach that, we provide word lists and so on. Okay. Egoistic is not a tone. Right? Egoistic is not a tone. Okay. Another 3 minutes. Try. See, this is 4 marks, low hanging fruit. But a lot of students, they get 2 marks. Don't be complacent.
Words 0.
Oh, 0. That's possible. Especially when it gets very tricky. I think today's this is not too tricky. Today's question is not too tricky, but there are really tricky ones. Mm. Yes, for the whole paper too. It's all comprehension. Hui Mei, you join us a bit later, is it? We shared earlier on. Paper 2 at secondary level, all comprehension. 3 comprehensions. 3 comprehensions.
Colleagues, how many marks are your Sec 4s getting for this?
Oh, just now we
The
mentioned
last part?
2 to 0.
Yes.
0 to
This
2.
flow
Oh
chart.
no, I'm seeing a lot of 4 now.
Oh, by Sec 4, 4s,
By
yeah.
Sec 4, they get to it. But recently, the one on Grendel, my goodness. I had folks with 0 to 4, 0 or 1. Because they mess up one and something else is messed up as well. So all
But do you know the
answers end up
grander
wrong.
one? the grander one requires a lot of imagination. They really have to visualize. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They were surprised when I told them that the monster Grendel is a child and that you have to imagine somebody childishly behaving that way, Yeah. They were surprised. They thought Grendel was a big adult monster or something.
So in secondary school, they cannot say, but I wouldn't do this. I don't get why anyone do this. When you read a text, you have to imagine what you need to imagine based on the details.
Yeah.
It is not what you assume is correct or
Correct.
making sense. Yeah, because the narratives can be like here, a child's perspective,
Yes, correct. Yeah. And
a
that's the power of the
recalcitrant.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the power of the piece because it's Grendel as a this immature.
Sadistic and all
Yeah,
that.
correct, correct. Yeah, and that's why after this Lord of the Flies, right? The potential of children to be evil.
What our
Some
students
answers.
should do also is once you get your school posting, I think you will also get your book list. If you are with My Stretcher, do tell your English teacher what your literature books are or what kind of things
Yes.
you are likely doing for English or language arts. Some of you are doing IP or IB. That there should be a book list. Do let us know because three of
Many
us
schools stop
at
calling it
least,
English already, right?
I think language arts or something.
They
So in
don't
any
really call it
case,
English now.
yeah, three of us are literature trained. So let us know or let your teachers know so that they can help you.
Okay, the answers are coming in. It's 11:06 and they're very eager. And we are starting to see very different answers. No? Okay. That's what we mean. So what's I'm just so
Yes.
curious, right? What's their process when they did this? Did you all just like flip to the passage and go, okay, just randomly this matches, then you write down your answer. So the first thing is go and read all the options in the box first and understand what they mean. Sometimes in more challenging papers, they are very close options, right? So accidental discovery means you discovered something without expecting it. Amusing observations means you saw some things and you think it's a bit funny. Okay? Careless
Actually,
actions means
they
you don't.
wait. Sorry, I cut in.
Yeah.
All of you, can you take a pen or using your eye, see whether something is of a positive nature or negative nature also. It's also very important because some of them go to the wrong extremes. They choose a happy answer for something that's very grim, which is very odd. And the second trick, there will always be one or two pairs of very similar answers. Can you guys tell us where do you think the traps are? I'm the writer. So can you tell me where you think I purposely try to confuse you? Which two phrases are very close? And that's where you have to be very careful. Anyone? Actually, there are two pairs. Between amusing, say, careless actions and uncontrollable situation. And between mischievous antics and uncontrollable situation. Which one is better for paragraph 1, for example? Then you have strange behavior and mischievous antics. When is strange? Or because some people will say that girl's very strange. She's always very naughty. So you get ideas mixed up, Is doing something funny being odd. So be very careful there. That's why I think many of them got the first, second, and third one all mixed up. So what's paragraph 1 really? I was barred from school. A teacher couldn't make her free her
Struggling.
jaws.
Yeah.
Is this strange behavior?
It's strange
Or was
enough.
it?
It's strange enough to
The
convey
teacher
this.
could not control the two girls. They were taking up a lot of time in class fighting. What's the correct answer for number 1?
Wrestling. It's
Struggle.
chaotic.
It's chaotic. It's absolute mayhem in class. And can you imagine the other kids screaming and or maybe they're going like fight. It adds on to all the excitement. Okay, what they think is excitement.
Some of them wrote mischievous antics. It's not enough. Antics are like small action pranks. mischievous
Yes.
antics. This is a full fight, it's like wrestle. The word wrestle is there. Okay, so in a cartoon, you see like basically just clouds, okay, and people just tumbling about, that kind of chaos. So it's
Like
not
in
mischievous
Korean
antics.
drama, it'll be hair pulling, right? They like to hold
Yes,
their hair, and then
exactly.
someone say, let go, and the third person's hair also gets pulled in the process.
For number two, some students wrote uh what's that thing? Accidental discovery. When she looks at her neighborhood and she notices all these things, is it accidental? No, she sees this every day,
The
right? She
clue
sees
is
this
in line
every day.
1. Although I had nowhere to go, I woke up early and sat on the front steps. She purposely went with stickers on her face and sat there. This is the thing. She sat there.
Yeah.
She knows she cannot go to school. So the next best thing to do is to sit there and try to get attention. And that was what she saw. American flags were raised out of patriotism, people getting out their house, all the military men looking alike. So you imagine the scene is like clones going to work.
Yeah.
You see, in the neighborhood, in America, you've got estates, like you've got 20 houses all in a row. So she can see the opposite neighbors. She can hear her side neighbors as well, all starting the car, revving the engine. So is this
Yes.
accidental? Like, oh, I happened to hear it.
Mm-mm.
And she's telling you, interesting, huh? They have the
Yeah.
same glasses, same cut. The man walk out of the house looking very confident and like all ready for work. Isn't it
Yes.
interesting?
Yes.
So the answer is
Amusing observations. And amusing doesn't mean laugh out loud amusing. It doesn't have to be
yeah.
people are coming out of their houses. It's not amusing doesn't have
It's
to
not
be
a ha
loud.
ha ha. Yeah. It's like,
It
wow,
just
okay, I see
mm,
this funny
yeah.
coincidence.
Okay.
Mm.
6 to 8. 6 to 8 is where she tried to like disturb her neighbor by with the stickers and standing in front of her. Okay. So she's just trying to be funny. She's just trying to be funny because she can't go to school. She's barred, right? So she scared her neighbor as a result. Rabies! And she thinks it's quite funny. So
And then she's still both. I get to stay at home. You
yeah,
have to go to school.
they're just being
Even though
playful,
the
okay, very
stickers were
mischievous.
cutting into her skin. Smart me, she was purposely grinning until all the stickers cut into her skin. Right? And still she wanted to be naughty.
And the last one,
Yes. The
the
mother.
last one is about the mother, right? So just now a student just saw a comment earlier and said maybe the mother was bedridden, but it doesn't look like bedridden. Say it was supper time, she felt too tired to cook. So she's not bedridden. She's just
And
feeling
she's
this
just
sense of
inactive. She just
inactive.
doesn't want to do anything. She
Yes.
could be depressed. She could be under medication for something.
Yes.
She could be
Agree.
ill and on heavy
Mm,
medication.
yeah. So
Or they could have a
strange.
fight. There could have been things happening in the family, and she just totally don't want to do to be a housewife. That's all.
Yeah. It's strange to
Strange.
the kids.
Hmm.
It's strange to the children. So all these, when you are answering questions like that, it's always refer to the text, right? The main events that the narrator was experiencing. Okay.
We
So
do an
see, it's not
emoji
straightforward,
check
right?
now.
How many marks did all of you get
We
for
do
this
an
example?
emoji check now. How did you do for this section? And what do you feel?
Hmm. Emoji check.
Emoji. Okay, now they're smiling a little bit. Well done, Shane.
Okay. Oh. Hmm. So you realize if you make one or two mistakes, then you start to make a lot more because of the confusion, right? So anything that's like fill in the blank, pick a word, they might look very straightforward, but don't be complacent, okay? You still need to be careful and take the steps you need to take. Now, part three, we're not going to go through a full non-narrative comprehension, but non-narrative comprehension, what do they usually look like? They could be about historical fact, they could be about what's happening in society, a current trend, a social problem, okay, something about a particular place and the culture. So it could be anything that you see in newspapers or magazines, something factual, whether it's now or in the past. Okay? It could be an opinion piece where the writer is sharing that he agrees or disagrees that something is being done in a certain way as well. Okay? But it's all based on factual information. So for narrative, just now we say it's like a mini literature test, right? The use of language, literary devices. In non-narrative, they are also checking certain things, whether you are able to um remember just now Mr. Sham said summary is 15 marks. That's the bulk of this part. So they want to see if you're able to pick out correct main ideas, correct details. Do you understand what they do or what the writer is trying to convey? Okay, and the other skills as well. So we're going to show you sample questions. We're not going to go through them. Okay, there's no text. We're going to show you the type of questions that could come out. Okay, before that, just a quick note over here. Knowing all these will help you in your essay writing. Okay, knowing all these skills will help you in your essay writing, because in essay writing, you are essentially like writing a non-narrative text, right? If you're discussing something, you are sharing your opinion. So when you study comprehension, let's say you're in MyStretcher, you study our comprehension C text, learn how the writers write and model after those techniques in your own essays. Okay, things like topic sentences and so on. So you'll learn more of these as you progress. Questions, comparison questions in a table form. Okay, so you need to be able to spot differences. There'll be own words questions as well. There could be tone and attitude question, but just now earlier on, it was the tone and attitude of a character. For text like that, in non-narrative text, it's the tone and attitude of the writer. Okay, why did he use certain words to talk about a particular social situation or country or president? Why did he use this word? What does it tell you about him? What he thinks? Okay, so tone and attitude questions, vocabulary questions, okay, they still come out. Use of language question, like in Compre B, okay? You see a lot more of explain fully, etc., which is typical of secondary school. Now, you'll also see this talking heads question. There'll be two characters. They are not part of the story or the text. They are discussing the text. Okay, so they have certain thoughts or comments about this non-narrative text. And their thoughts and perspectives are usually differing. So when you see questions like that, usually they'll ask you, Alvin is saying this, students will learn better if schools replace teachers with robots. And Elizabeth says, I disagree. There are things which robots can never replace. Like a mini debate, yeah, Nicole, something like that. They're disagreeing with each other. And there will be usually two parts to this talking heads question. The first one could be related to go and look for pieces of evidence that supports his view. So the difficulty is this. I'm not sure about Mrs. Shum and Teacher Coleman. Some students, this looks straightforward, but students sometimes still quote the wrong thing. And it's because they didn't unpack the speech
Yes,
bubble.
and actually, I gave a very big hint. Students, can you tell me 1 and 2? Which one is harder and why? What's the difference between the first question and second question? Does that mean you find something relevant, you just copy? There was a magic word I told you that gives you a hint that you must do a little bit more hard work. Yes, number 1 is more straightforward, more strict. I didn't use the word easy. It is more direct. Number 2, you cannot just find evidence, you need to explain. So what you need to do is, with fresh lenses, you start secondary school this way. Read carefully. And those of you who have a habit of never doing working and underlining, you better start now, because there are many more words to focus on. So if you don't circle like this, in an exam, what happens is they go on autopilot, right, Mavis? They just do. And then sometimes I look at their school papers and the students say, oh, I didn't see this word. I really didn't see in your own words. I said because you didn't even circle it. So they, in their rush, they just write whatever they think is correct rather than what is correct. So
Yeah.
take note, all of you.
Take note. Yes. Okay, so you will see this more. There are certain techniques and skills when you join us in January, we will get a lot of practice. Okay, so no worries. Summary writing, 15 marks. 15 marks. How are the marks given? So for content, content marks be 8. So you need 8 content points. Language could be 7. Okay, total 15 marks. So you're not only assessed, so what's summary? If not in daily life, okay, let's say you watch a cartoon or you watch your favorite anime, and then your friends say, hey, what is this anime about? And then you say it in one sentence or maybe 5 sentences. You're actually summarizing because the anime is more than 1 sentence or 5 sentences, right? So we are already doing summarizing in our daily lives when we are trying to quickly give someone an idea of something much bigger. But at secondary level for summary writing, because of the way the marks are allocated and so on, it's not so random and it's not so casual. There are certain steps you need to take to answer the question. So we are not going to do a summary today, but I'll just show you, give you a glimpse, okay, of some of the things you will see. So in the summary question, the question usually looks like that. Summarize the reasons why we need to drink water and what will happen if we don't have sufficient water intake. So in this summary question, you see 2 things. Firstly, we want reasons for drinking water. Secondly, we want consequences. Now, in my summary, I need to select 8 points that address both reasons and consequences. Usually, the text contains more than 8, sometimes 9, sometimes 10, okay? But you need at least 8. And then they will tell you where to look. So you must look at the right place or else you don't get your marks, okay? Look at the right place. Now, this summary, it's 80 words max, and they will give you some words to start you off, okay? To start you off. So this is a typical question. Now, let's say it's a whole text, many paragraphs, maybe 8 paragraphs. But your points are just going to be from 2. So if you have tried this, how did it go for you? What do you manage to find the points? Do you manage to find 8, 9, or even 10 points when you were going through this text? Okay, so very quickly, because I've given you the suggested answer, okay, and this is not a real practice, just to give you a glimpse. How can we make sure that we select reasons and consequences? So why must we drink water? You can just highlight, okay, as I'm going through, so that you have taken down some notes. Why must we drink water? We must drink water because we need to regulate our body temperature. So as I'm reading the text, I go, everyone probably knows it is important to drink plenty of fluids. Why? Regulate body temperature. So I'm not going to highlight the whole sentence. I'm just going to highlight the point that is a reason. Okay? We need to regulate our body temperature. Okay? And then if you read on daily necessity, some things are not relevant. I'm going to just skip them. Older people don't sense thirst, that's not relevant. And older people don't sense thirst as much as they did as when they were younger. And that could be a problem if they are on medication that may cause fluid loss. So it's a problem if you don't drink enough water when you are on medication, it will be problematic, okay? So we have to drink water. So this answers both reasons, a bit of what could happen, okay? Something bad, a problem. Now, nothing else. Then we move on. We have 2 points so far. Why must we drink water? It keeps every system in the body functioning properly. Okay, reason. And then you read on average, everyone should drink water. Doesn't answer my summary question. I'm going to skip. What are the consequences, problems? Risk becoming dehydrated. So that's a consequence. And if you're dehydrated, what will happen to you? As a result, we may feel general weakness. We may also suffer from low blood pressure. So as I'm doing this, you realize that these are singular points. They're all individual points. And how do we know that something is a point? You look for linking words like as a result. Words like risk, they'll tell you, oh, it's consequence, right? Okay? Dizziness and confusion. Okay? Just your world is spinning. So all these are individual points. So far, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have point 4, we have point 5, we have point 6, 7. Oh my God. And then point 8. Okay,
All of us
point
have a phobia now of the
I have a
numbers.
phobia, yes. What? And then this point, say, this is consequence. Then you don't forget, the points are all mixed up, right? Water is also key. You see the word key, you go, reason why we must drink water. Because it helps carry nutrients and oxygen to our cells. So this is not a consequence. This is a reason. Okay? And then, furthermore, it flushes bacteria from our bladder,
Mm.
aids our digestion. If it aids our digestion, that means we don't get constipated. So what do I have here? I have reason, consequences, and then I'm back to reason. Okay? And then I check, oh, I have 10 points. I just need 8. If I can put all 10 in, meet the word count, it's fine. If not, I need at least 8. Or 9, just in case one of my points was not clear enough.
Let's
So what's your
remind them something golden, okay? Some of you might be feeling very scared. Is this exercise relevant to how you practice for the PSL? Anyone can tell me which segment of your paper 2 is directly relevant to summarizing? What was summary? You have small points, and then you have to gel them into sentences. Which part of your PSLE paper has become bloated? Anyone can tell us? Synthesis and transformation, well done. So do you remember how many sentences you had to synthesize? There are 5 questions, right? 10 sentences became 5 sentences. So what's happening here? They're testing you first, whether you can read instructions. 2, whether you can pick out the points therefore. And 3, whether you can put some things into your own words, which is vocabulary, and then gel them together. So actually, it's not difficult. It is S&T. All of you have done S&T. We have 4 reasons here and 6 consequences, right? So let me just ask you, when you were in primary school, when you are listing things, what are the grammar words you use? I bought apples. I bought pears. What do you do? Which words do you use? You see here?
linking words?
And things like apart from, so that, additionally, furthermore.
Also,
Because you're just listing. Yes. So you are tested. So we don't call it S&T. We call it summary because it's not just S&T, but you also need to put things in your own words.
yes.
So if you do unnecessary information, you will have 80 words, but then maybe only 2 points because you wasted a lot of words on things that don't answer to the question.
Yes. So in primary school, when they say rewrite the sentences and do not change the meaning, yeah, this is exactly what you cannot change the meaning when you're writing a summary. So all those skills is now just been expanded. Okay? So you will again develop and learn skills related to summary. So just to give you an idea, this will be one of the test components. Okay? So now, today you're not going to write an essay, no worries. We're just going to give you a glimpse. Why there's no point 7? Has it been merged? Or has it been kicked out because I've more than enough points? It could be possible. So you have 10 points, and then you realize that one of the points, because of the word count, you cannot include it in, then maybe you don't. Okay? Because there are 10 here, so there's more than enough to choose from. We're not writing an essay today. We are just going to expose you to some question types. Usually, at secondary 1, as we all know, most schools will begin with genres or texts that are closer to what you do in primary school, which is like a narrative. So in primary school, you've seen this many times, a story mountain, the narrator's journey, right? A journey through a problem and then discovering something about himself or herself, learning a lesson. So you have done this in primary school, and you still need to use the skills you have learned in secondary school. So don't throw them away. You still need to use vivid words and language, okay? So these are things that you have learned. And in primary school, these are some of the themes, right? Common themes related to situations or morals. At secondary level, you don't get single word or phrase questions like that. But in the way the question is phrased, they can still want you to explore morals, your opinions. Okay, it's just now a deeper dive. Okay, so now we're gonna take a look at some question types. Then you get the idea. And then I think Mr. Sham, this is very Mr. Sham, right? Label. Okay. 1 to 4. Is it you, Mr. Sham? Or is it Mr. Sim? The rating. I cannot hear you, Mr. Sham. You're muted.
I think Stephen added this.
Is it? Because Mr. Sham likes to do fun things like that too. Get them to rate the difficulty level. Okay, we have all influenced each other.
Panic
So,
mode.
so when you look at the question types on this page, you see this whole list, right? Later on, I will share with you the essay type. When you take a look at these questions, how would you rate them? Is it like, very easy, I can do this. If this comes out in Sec 1, I'm going to do it. Very easy. Or is it, oh my God, what is this? What is this strange looking thing? Okay. So have some sort of rating. Let's take a look at the different questions that you may encounter. Okay. Like question 1. What do you think of question 1? Which person has the most positive impact on your life? So you need to talk about a person and it's your life, not some cartoon character's life. So students ask, they like to ask, can I tell lies? Um,
Can,
etc.
so long as you write as yourself. So this is the thing.
Yes.
In secondary school, regardless, you have to write as yourself, which is 13 years old, 14 years old, not as a 16-year-old, not a 60-year-old or an alien or a stapler or your handphone. So no more, say, imaginative writing for the sake of it. I think Mavis, at this point, we also tell them they have actually answered these questions before.
Yeah.
Do these look familiar to you? Not in paper 1. Where else have you answered these before? Tell me about a time, blah, blah, blah. Are you able to describe? Do you think, where have you heard all these questions before? SBC, very good. So don't throw away your SBC notes, because some of the vocabulary and words will come in useful. So you have to change your mindset. Secondary school, actually, oral and essay, they are very closely related, as well as situational writing, because they'll always ask you, what are the benefits of going rock climbing? What can you gain from learning this and that? So actually, the 3 parts of the paper come in very, very well. The important thing is you cannot write imaginatively. Your answers must be in first person, I. Okay, regardless of whether you bluff details, the same thing, SPC, Mavis, they used to say, if I have, if I disagree, can I make up a reason? Yes, so long as you make up a reason. But you have to say, I don't think I would enjoy this activity because I have a phobia of heights. You still have to say I, not a third person. So that's the main thing all of you have to get very clear for the rest of your years in secondary school.
So if you're wondering what's expository, later on you will see a summary table. But at secondary level, you don't just tell stories anymore. Very often you need to explain, provide details, right? Discuss something. So these are some skills that you will gain along the way, okay? You don't practice them too
The
much in
key is
written
to be
form in primary
convincing.
school. Yeah, convincing, yes.
Yeah. The
Oops, did I
key
spell
is to be
reflective correctly?
convincing. Yeah. So even if you lie, you must be
Mm,
convincing. That means I can't tell. Okay?
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. Yes, very important. These are some key things. Because you're becoming teenagers, young adults, the expectation is that you're now more mature, you can reflect, okay? And you write with a clear purpose, okay? So this is one. About the second one. It was my proudest moment. Write about a time when you felt like this. This one is it. Looks like my PSLE topic, a proud moment. Is it? Or a prelim paper, a proud moment. So this
Yes,
is
a
really familiar.
victory.
Yes. So this is
Yes.
narrative recount. Again, first person. So at secondary level, you're no longer writing like John and Sally, that kind of things, okay? You're writing about yourself. What about this? Most young people today are obsessed with fame and imitating celebrities. What are your views?
Mm.
What? Again, at primary level, there in our SBC level, question 3 maybe, but simpler version of this, okay? Not so challenging. At secondary level, when your teachers are diving into a particular topic with you, some of them might be sharing articles, making watch videos, etc., so that you have some content knowledge. And then they set a question like that. Okay, so you can either discuss it, because what are your views? You can have strong views or more balanced view, it's fine. You can say, I agree strongly, or well, there are several factors that we have to consider when we look at this statement, right? Because obsessed is a strong word. Obsessed means it's not normal already, okay? It's not just
Such
like,
questions are very hard at the start. That's why
yes,
in
very hard.
secondary school, your teachers may not teach you how to write this kind of argument until
Yes,
maybe later part of the year. So don't worry, we
yes,
will help you
yes.
and your teachers will help you. The
Right.
danger of this question is actually the word most.
Mhm.
Are you able to generalize on behalf of all the young people in this world?
Mm.
Okay, because some of them will say, yes, because my friends are Blackpink
Ah,
crazy. But it's just your friends,
very
you know.
good.
Does that reflect everyone in your school, in Singapore, in the world, every country? So that's where you need to read widely. You cannot say,
Yes.
but I watched this meme or I watched 10 YouTube videos. That's not enough. You need to have numbers, percentages, and that's where reading comes into play. So don't worry about these. It is the hardest to do. Even the Sec Force find a lot of trouble
Struggle.
coming up with good reasons why they agree or disagree. They
Yeah.
know they agree, but they don't know how to explain it. So this comes with a lot of training.
They also don't know how what method to adopt, how to the way that I should
Yes.
say this. Yeah, because you see the question itself is very unbalanced. See,
Mm.
unbalanced. So the
Mm.
only way I can convince you is to bring balance back to this. Even though I may agree with one side of the view, but the way I speak sound very reasonable. It's not extreme because it's like me, right? If I'm at your house now, all of you, and I scream at you and say, why are you always doing this? Obviously you're gonna argue with me. Okay. But if I say, oh, you're always doing this, why? How about this? Now actually I'm guiding you, but you don't sound so pushy.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah, it's about
yes.
learning. It's about discovering yourself and how capable you are at trying to get people to believe you, right? In a very balanced, reasonable way. Yeah, not extreme screaming at them. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Teacher Coleman, for highlighting that. This is one of the main differences in secondary level. The 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 maturity and the purpose of wanting to be convincing, right? So that's the angle that we take as we explore these discursive or argumentative topics. Even if you disagree strongly, you cannot sound angry. You have to sound calm and logical. Now, the next one, this looks like even the plot has been given to you, right? An event you look forward to, which turned out to be disappointing. The climax, rising actions, all there already, right? So, like, but that's not all. There is a second part. Explain why you were excited. Why you were excited about it. Why it did not live up to your expectations. So there is a reflection part as well. At secondary level, when you do a recount or narrative, in primary school you have like one concluding paragraph. At secondary
Yes, this
level,
day will be etched in my memory forever. Is it?
at secondary level, we can go up to 2 paragraphs or so to really
Yes.
dive deep and think about the impact of this experience, etc. Okay? So yes, it's a narrative recount sort, but
It's a reflective
reflection.
recount.
Yes, reflective recount. Okay, let me just put here.
So all of you know how to write the first part. The point is not to spend so much time on the first part now. You have to describe the event. So that's why we told you not to use the fluffy clouds and the alarm clock anymore. Now you have to go straight to an event, maybe a birthday party, and then it turned out to be a disappointment. Then you reflect, were you one of the planners, for example? If you were one of the people who had planned for this event, reflect what went wrong. Was it because you didn't do your part properly? What did you learn from it? So actually 30% of your writing has to go into reflection. So this is a big difference from primary school, where you could just end up with 2 sentences. You just reflect. Because of this incident, I learned never to be careless. So like compo topic, your carelessness, or write a composition about a time when things went wrong. I mean, most of you didn't actually reflect very deeply. So now it's the opposite. You are told explicitly to reflect on it.
Yes.
Again, your teachers will guide you how to write proper and deeper reflections.
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
And
An example
yeah.
would be like, my birthday, I was expecting to get, Xbox or something like that, but you got socks and t-shirt. You know that feeling, the quack
Or
feeling, and
worse,
towards the
all
end,
the
you reflected.
PSLE books.
You reflected and you say, oh, now I understand why my parents did this, because my parents knew the difference between what I want and what I needed. And in life, I discovered that what I needed is actually what is the most important. And I thank my parents for teaching me this. Wow.
Yes.
Like that of thing.
Yes.
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 I
Like
just
chicken
said
soup
it
for
in
the
one
soul.
paragraph. Yeah, this is for your soul. So it's one
Yes.
paragraph I just did, but you have to expand it into 5-6 paragraphs. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
I
no.
realized that too. We're trying to touch the readers. We're trying to touch at secondary level, you're in your recounts and narratives, you're almost trying to touch the reader's life, You're trying to
Yes.
get the reader to learn something from your story, to become a better person because of your story. So again, that's a different angle, right? Not pure entertainment anymore. Okay, so the sincerity has to be there as well. Okay, last one, number 5. Which modern invention is essential for you and your family? Which one could you live without? So again, these are keywords, right?
This one difficult.
Explain your views. So again, oral, maybe something like that could come out. But over here, this is what we call a discursive essay. Basically, you're just discussing. You're going to share and you're going to discuss. You're going to give reasons.
And evaluate.
Okay. And evaluate, yes. Okay, why? So these are just some examples. Now,
evaluate, you must be like your mommy when they go to do supermarket shopping. You just stand there. Mom, it's only 2 cents cheaper.
Yes.
Why it take so long? Same.
Yes. Let me put that in.
Supermarket shopping?
No.
Evaluate it.
So while Mavis is typing, all of you, can you put in the chat, which question do you think is the hardest and that you need to start working on? I think all of them can write number 1, 2, and 4 nearly.
Oh
Like
no, every
proudest
question.
moment. Yeah, because you have just gotten back your PSLE results, right? You can write your proudest moment because I believe many of you have outdone yourself in the final exams, haven't you? Then you can describe. You don't need to go from P1 all the way to 6, but the moment you got your results, and then you look back at how you pulled up a few bands for a particular subject, for example.
Doesn't matter what your AL is. The most like Mrs. Sham said, we start clean slate. You know all these things, and then we start building our foundation again, adding on to our foundation in Sec 1. Okay? So this is just a glimpse. In the exam, very often you get to choose. There are 4 questions. You get to choose. Okay? But you have to learn all. Okay, you have to learn all kinds. So in very quickly, you would have seen that there are the themes being discussed. We talk about what's happening in society. We're talking about culture. We're talking about human behavior. And all these things, you can only have content if you actually read widely, right? News, magazines, things that you learn in your geography and history, things you learn about population, etc. They can be very useful here. Okay? So you need to read more widely. And not just read, but ask yourself, what do you think about what is being written? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think there is something that's not discussed or missing? So you need to ask a lot more questions at secondary school. Don't take things as they are and say, oh, okay. Ask questions, all right? Because you need to now think deeper. Your teachers can't tell you everything all the time, okay? You need to be able to ask questions, to question things that are presented to you, okay? So this is just a summary of what is a recount, an exposition, and an argumentative essay. We've talked about it earlier on, so I'm not going to belabor. Some notes for you to read. I'm going to highlight certain things, right? So this diagram here, when we write an essay, we have a question, and then we expand, we elaborate, we give details, we get an essay. And then when we do a comprehension passage, like in paper 2, non-narrative, you get a comprehension passage, then you get asked questions. Okay? And then that's what I was saying, right? Our comprehension passages or your comprehension passages for non-narrative are like model essays for you. Well-written ones become like model essays because non-narrative texts have thesis, they have topic sentences, they are main ideas, they are examples, elaboration, okay, which is what is required of you when you write an essay. So when you read your comprehension passages or anything you come across, don't just say it's just that. It's more than that. You can use them as models. There are some things I want to highlight. Mostly notes here for your own reading. Okay, for your own reading. And we have mentioned this earlier on as well, that at secondary level, it's this. You want to be able to showcase certain things that you are mature, young adult, you're capable of thinking deeper, you're capable of reflecting after being really informed. That means reading widely. And then you present all these in your writing, in your oral. Okay? We've mentioned this as well earlier on. Teacher Coleman, Mr. Sham, we've talked about this logic, being fair, being polite, respectful tone, persuasive. Okay? So how to prepare, what to read, what to read. You realize that based on the essay questions, there's things that you have to think about. All right? One of the common topics would be transformations or transitions, like from one part of your life to another. And at Sec 1, you'll see this quite a lot, right? Achievement, lesson learned from primary to secondary school, difficulties coping. So there'll be questions related to making friends, making new friends, learning new subjects, okay? Disappointments, there'll be topics, essay topics like that. So this is just I'm just going to mark it out, okay? What is peer pressure? Peer pressure is not just following your friends. Peer pressure means you change everything about yourself to mirror how people around you are behaving. Okay? So be familiar with topics like peer pressure, with expectations from school, parents, society. Okay? Because there'll be questions set like that, talking about academic stress. Okay? And mental health, trends and adolescent issues, fashion, popular culture, social media, bullying, uh, topics like that. Okay? Things that are happening around you. So one type of question is related to just becoming, growing up, basically growing up. Growing up, growing pains. Okay, growing up, growing pains. Yeah. So topics like that. The second type is world issues. Okay. What do you think about pollution? What do you think about the use of technology in the classroom or in medicine? Okay. What do you think about things like racism, inequality in the society? Okay. What do you think about wars, disasters, natural disasters? So again, if an essay topic like that comes up, you will only know how to answer it if you have some content. Okay. So you need to read widely. So if they ask you questions about, for example, filial piety, do you think it's important for young people to be filial? You go, what's filial? Okay, filial is just having respect for your parents, the elderly. Okay, some extends beyond the family. It doesn't have to be just the old people in your family, right? When you go out and you see an elderly having trouble, helping out. Okay, what is altruism? This comes out quite a bit in secondary school because there's no right answer. Is that true altruism? Becomes, I don't know. Is that true altruism? But what's altruism? That means you are selfless. You don't ask for anything in return. So if an essay question says, um, true altruism is dead. Do you agree? We go discuss. Okay. So there are questions like that. The third kind is related to culture. So trends and culture, right? What's happening in society? People are discussing it. They cannot reach a consensus. They are arguing. And then we want to ask, what do you think? What do you think is acceptable or not acceptable in society? What's a taboo? Is having tattoos a taboo? Maybe 30 years ago, a bit more. Now, everyone, not only gangsters have tattoos, regular people have tattoos, right? So trends and cultures change. Okay, what do you observe? What do you think? So these are some broad types of broad areas you have to learn, discuss, think about over time. Okay. Um, just now, Mr. Sham wrote in the chat, peel structure. So at secondary level, even in geography, history, you will see this. Your teachers will tell you this to organize your information. So in an essay, you don't just write randomly. Primary school, you have a story mountain. At secondary school, for discursive, there is the peel method. Okay,
They
what you
learn
write.
the PEERS, which is
Yeah,
very similar.
can also. Yes, yes,
Yes. So apply that.
yes. Okay, basically, how do you provide details and elaborate?
So
Your
students, you must be
concept.
careful. I
Mm,
think you will find giving the point and explaining and elaborating quite okay. Where
mm,
you will meet a little bit of
mm.
problem is how do you link, and then you
Yes,
sit there and wondering how do you link everything together so that your thing doesn't sound like look like a jigsaw that your poor teacher have to figure it out for you. So that is the one of the challenge. So when you go to school, you must always
mm,
pay attention. How do I link this? How do I link this? Because that is going to be what's going to help you to score.
yes.
Mm.
Because good links create a very logical flow, and the reader can understand, oh, okay, A leads to B, B leads to C, and therefore D happens.
Mm.
Okay, so teacher Coleman is right. This is often, I agree, this is often forgotten. They just think as long as they have the main points, it's fine, but it's not true. Okay, you need to piece everything together for your reader. Of course, you're not just being assessed on content, like, well, I have all this information. Your language, accuracy still comes in, okay? Your grammar, sentence
In fact,
structures.
very important. Your content is 10 marks.
Mm,
Your language is 20 marks.
mm,
Yeah. So please take note of that. Yeah.
yes. Okay. And same, the nagging continues at secondary level. Plan before you write. Uh, stakes are high as well. Okay. So plan before you write. You can use a mind map, etc. So different types of essays, you use different kinds of planning. You learn along the way. Okay. We have about some minutes left. We are not going to test your oral skills. If you have looked at this table, you get a sense. At secondary level, there is still oral communication. The main difference will be this thing that you're not so familiar with, and it's the planned response. I wouldn't say you're totally unfamiliar because you have given speeches before, right? If you are a student leader, maybe, or you go on stage during assembly, you speak, you prepare a speech, and then you speak, you deliver it. So it's not absolutely alien, but as a test, maybe it's new.
Yes.
So what is going to happen is at secondary level, there are two parts, right? The second part is spoken interaction, which is like SBC. You answer questions using peer structure. But the first part is this thing called planned response, and it's 15 marks. You're no longer just reading a text written by someone else. You're now going to deliver your own planning. I won't always call it a script because you have no time to write a script in 10 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
your own
Your 10
planning.
minutes only.
Yeah, 10 minutes only.
Yeah.
And so
To
students just write
plan and come out of it.
and just talk. Yes. So it's like
Okay.
cue cards, you have some pointers and then you use it to talk.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 minutes, no more than 2 minutes. The examiner will stop you. Okay. You watch a video, you plan for 10 minutes, and then you speak for 2 minutes.
Right.
This is the planned response. And this
The
is
two are quite closely linked. I think some
yes.
schools forget to teach to tell them that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that if you gave a good response, a planned response, a good
Mm,
speech,
mm,
it will help in your what call that, stimulus based
yes.
conversation. Yeah,
Yes.
because if your speech have no strong content, for example,
Mm,
you find that when you respond, your response will also be weak. The two are very closely linked. So that's why you come to Mind Stretcher, you'll find that we actually plan you very strongly for the planned content because we are also teaching you how to do the other part, which is the stimulus-based response. So the
yes.
two are very, very closely linked. Yeah.
Exactly. And we use peers as well. Okay,
Mm.
even in plan response, we use peers and peel as well. So it's skills, but add on, okay, another layer of that. And the video you're watching, I like PSLE Chinese mother tongue, right? You'll watch a video. So at secondary level English, you'll watch a video. Sometimes a montage, you hear some background sounds, and then you see people behaving in certain ways, okay, related to the theme. So the main thing would be that from reading aloud to creating a structured speech, like a mini presentation, a 2-minute presentation. Okay? And just to share with you, I've only put the band 5 because that's what we all want to aim to achieve eventually. Okay, you are assessed for two things because this is new, so I block it out a little bit more for you. You're assessed for two things. One is content. So of course, in the 2 minutes, you must answer the question with relevant details, well organized, easy to understand for the listener. The listener does not have your script. They're just listening, right? And assessing you. So that would be 10 marks. Now, this is until Set 4, students still struggle with this. I'm not sure about my colleagues. They still get like 3.
The thing is, any question can come out. So some students find it a struggle generating ideas on the spot. Then even if they have ideas or
Yes.
they don't know what to do, how to start, and then they fumble and have too many pauses. So if you recall, can you recall your opening question, those of you who did the ice cream store? So say, for example, I draw to something that's familiar with you. The video shows 1 minute, people queuing outside Somerset, queuing up for ice cream. So they may ask you, is it a good idea to be working a part-time job like this, selling ice cream outside at the store? They can ask you anything. Or they may ask you, is this a good way to spend your weekend? So regardless, you will be given time to plan your response and to say it out. So the thing is not whether you can memorize every topic. Is impossible because you don't know how the questions will be asked. But if you see here, if you use the PEERS or PEL, all of you know this by heart. Some of your teachers call it trees, is it? TREES. Can you still recall? Can you type in the chat? What can you remember of the way to structure your answer? That is the thing you fall back on. Instead of saying, I don't know how to start, I don't know what to write. So you start off with your main point. I think it's a wonderful idea to do this or that. Firstly, why? Example. Secondly, why? That's it. I strongly feel that. Okay, that in conclusion. So once you have this in your head, it's not a matter of whether you are still in primary 5, 6, or you are in secondary 3 or 4. That is the kind of rigor you need to have, so that we also mentioned just now, so that you can apply this thinking and organization when you write your compositions. The same thing happens. You're just talking out. You're actually talking out a full answer, 300 words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So what Mr. Sham just described is actually a habit. Of this point, or from this point onward, you try to develop this habit of like if I ask you, oh, do you like banana pies? Then you say yes, and then nothing else. That's the danger. Okay, you have to have the habit of elaborating a little. Okay, yeah, so you start off with a little. Okay, yeah, until to a point whereby you're quite fluent and that you have so much so much thoughtfulness in you that it actually overflows. Do you know it is a compliment when somebody tells you, you're very, very talkative. Can you please stop? It is a compliment, no? That means that you're able to bring lots of stuff to any discussion. Okay, don't ever be insulted when somebody say, "Oh no, can you please shut up?" Okay, because it's actually a compliment. You have you have this effusive, very overflowing nature about you, and that's always a good thing. Okay, don't ever let anybody shut that down from you. Okay, I know sometimes it can be you have certain individuals, some of them adults, who will like to shut you down, and yes, you learn to control a little bit. Okay, but never lose that part of you whereby you have that overflowing, almost, wonderment about life, and you're just so excited to share about things. That's good. Okay, and don't do J-Cho things. Okay, don't. I think. Okay, stop that. Okay, not cool.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman. You raised a point that links to the next one when you talk about really loving to share ideas and all that. And it reminds me of the word passion, right? So it's 5 marks, right? That's 5 marks. You see, teacher, I'm now reading my own my presentation. Why are they still grading me for all these things? Because you need to be clear. And this band 5 descriptor here, intonation varied to good effect. You are no longer telling a story of a birthday party or something like that. You're sharing your own opinion. Share your opinions passionately.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
for example, like back to part-time work, you cannot be saying, so all in all, I think it's a good idea for teenagers to do part-time job during their school holiday. How are you going to convince anyone part-time job is good? So you must look at the examiners in the eye and say, so
Yes.
all in all, I think it's a wonderful idea to take on part-time jobs during the school holidays for the benefits I have just discussed. And then with a smile.
Yes.
So the
That's
whole
what
package.
Yeah.
Exactly. The passion, it's like, I must do an oral exam and I must give a
And they actually
presentation.
practice this during reading aloud, because last year, every reading aloud was, you are a head prefect, you're giving a speech to the school. Or you are, I think for our boot camp, we said you are at your grandmother's birthday party. You want to have a tribute speech to her. So you don't say, thank you all for attending today's party. You say, thank you everyone for taking your time to be here with us. That was how we taught you, right? That is part of the training for this year and beyond.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
So
year,
don't become a monotonous teenager, please. Okay.
This year I was eating at Din Tai Fung, and I saw one of my Sec 4 students. Yes, she was working in Tang just eavesdropping. I know I should not, but she was talking to customers, all that. And I say, wow, not bad, huh? Very different from when I first met you in Sec 1. Then she said, yes, I was using Pierce while I was talking to her. Oh, so it was really, really quite funny. She said that, oh yeah, first of all, I tell them this. She actually demonstrated it to me. Okay, yeah. So it has a lifelong usefulness.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Teacher Coleman. Yeah, so the thing is this, my dear students, don't just think it's an exam. You are going to benefit from all these skills you develop for the rest of your life. Actually, we said this in primary six already when we went through the boot camp, oral boot camp with you. Okay, it's not you don't just have one part of your life where you need oral communication skills. You need it for the rest of your life. Okay, so start somewhere, okay, and start to develop those skills. Now, these are all tips, lists of just reminders and tips. The thing I want to show, just now Mr. Sham says, use peel, use an opening, and then use or pierce, and then close it properly. This is like a sample. In the exam, 10 minutes, you have no time to write this because it's like a mini essay. Okay, but we've given you this so that you get an idea, right? In terms of how ideas are organized, kind of vocabulary you can use when you are thinking or as you develop the skill over time. So let's say a video clip shows students interacting with elderly using handphones or tablets. Okay, and the question says, do you think it's important for young people in Singapore to volunteer in community service? What benefits do students and community gain? You have 10 minutes now to plan. And you go, oh, what do I do? Right? Okay. So
Panic
there's
mode.
always structure. There's an opening. There are like your two main points and then your closing. About 2 minutes already. Okay? It's about 2 minutes. So this is just a sample. A lot of students will say, yes, I think it's important. Okay, that's more of a spoken interaction when you're answering. If this is a mini speech, a mini presentation, let's begin with context. Let's begin with like an opening statement. It's until 12, yeah. I've overrun a bit. Okay, another give us 3 minutes, okay? So begin with a context, okay? And then share your stand. So say, yes, I think it's very important. And in this speech, or I'm going to share details, or I'm going to share benefits, why I say so. Okay, I'm going to share reasons for why I say so. And then you see, oh, body paragraph. This is the tool. So within each paragraph, there's an opening statement, there's a reasoning, there is an example going back to the video, and then there is a point. What's the link? What are you trying to say? So there is P-E-E-L. There's P-E-E-L here. Okay? That's what we mean by use your peel structure. And then you answer, then the next point. Secondly, use words to signal. Okay? Secondly, the benefits are this and this. Again, P-E-E-L. Before you conclude. You don't just say, oh, that's the end. You need to practice and factor in time, about 10 to 15 seconds to conclude your speech. Okay? So in your own time, you can have some fun with this. Okay, how are you going to deliver this in a passionate way to get your ideas across? Okay? So there's so many. We haven't even touched on like situational writing and all that. We didn't plan to
Anything.
do that today. It's just you'll see situational writing as you go into
I think
secondary
they
school.
are
Yeah.
swamped already.
Yeah, your brain is
Overwhelmed.
exploding already.
I actually
Hyperbole.
want to show them editing as well,
Yeah, can
Should
we show
we?
them
Yeah.
editing
Yeah.
just a little bit?
Yes.
Let me,
Okay. You
Mr. Sham,
stop
do you have
share?
that?
Yes, I
Okay, I'll
have.
stop share.
I
Just to
took
show
out
you, just to
one
show you.
from. Okay. I share.
How much we can say in 2 minutes? Usually it depends
Don't
on your
panic,
style
yeah.
and so on.
Don't
Okay, yeah, this
panic, okay?
editing.
Yes, I'm just going to show you something, okay, taken from one of our Sec 4 materials. So next year, regardless of which school you're at, NA, or express course, you have to do editing. There are finer details and differences, but let's just generally say this is the express standard, IP standard editing. So not all IP schools will do editing, but most will, including say RI and RGS, they also do this. So can all of you read instructions first? All of you read instructions first, okay? Don't worry, this is not a test. But you have to see how important it is to get used to practices. So you get 12 lines to read. If you recall in PSLE, do you recall how many marks went to editing? Was it 10 marks, Mavis?
Yes,
like
10.
this year?
Yes.
And everything is underlined,
Yes.
okay? And then you had to do spelling
Spelling. Yes.
or grammar. So what is the difference? The difference now is, good thing, you're not tested for spelling errors. There is one grammatical error in each line. What was the meaning of grammatical error? Can all of you share with the teachers here?
Yeah. Do you all
What was
remember?
grammatical error? What's the difference between grammar error and spelling error? We told you spelling error is the one that looks weird, right? The spelling is funny. Grammar is when the error makes the whole sentence sounds weird. Doesn't make sense. Like I is going out. Then you say, I is going out. You say, I am going out. So what you're looking for, tenses, okay, in general, you don't need to copy. Later on, you can take a screenshot. You're tested for your tenses, word form. Like, for example, you say, I was amazed by the beautiful of the Mount Fuji. I was amazed by the beautiful of Mount Fuji. What should the answer be? So you're tested for word form. Is the word used correctly? Then you have connectors.
Yeah.
Examples of animals from Australia include wombats, but quokkas. Examples include A and B. So connectors. Sometimes they test you on pronouns. It's one person. Suddenly you see a they. Then you have to change they to he or she. Things like that. And also
Article.
typical,
Articles.
yes, articles and determiners, and
Yes.
the. You also get tested on quantifiers.
Yes.
Basically, everything you did in
Everything.
booklet A
Yeah.
and grammar close, you have to revise. So you cannot say, the whole problem is if you don't revise, let's see, let me get through this. So tenses, these are the main things you're tested for. What's quantifiers? Much or many, few, little, most, none, another, other. All these are quantifiers, okay? So grammar errors only. If there's no error in a line, put a tick. And that's where I have students doing this. Is this a tick? No. A tick looks like this. So right down to basic, drawing ticks is a problem, even for my Sec 4s, or they don't circle. If the line is incorrect, circle the incorrect word and write it here. So your answers must be here. And you read every line by line, sentence by sentence to find it. And the correct word you use cannot change the original meaning. So you cannot change it to a different vocabulary word. You cannot say, I don't like rock, I'm going to change to stone. No. Rock face is rock face. You disagree, that's not the point, okay? Rock face is correct. It's a rough surface. So there you have it. Shall we try? Can all of you try? Say up to here. Up to here. Okay, we do until number 4. Okay, all of you try this. Can you spot 4 errors or 3 errors and 1 tick? Just for the fun of it. There's no error in the first line, okay? This is what it means. There's no error here and no error here. So what it means, you're looking for 2 ticks. There must be 2 ticks somewhere, and there are 8 circles. Who is brave enough to share with us something they spot? So now you don't have MCQs anymore. You don't have grammar,
very
10
often
grammar items.
When Sec 1, even Sec 2 students, right, when they're trying this out, they often stare at the paper blankly for a while, or they get stuck.
Hey, they're quite good, huh? They're quite good. So they
Good,
know
Yeah.
to
good.
read for run online. So also known
Mm.
as
Spotted the three
rappelling.
errors already.
Abseiling is a thrilling outdoor activity that this is one activity that involves. So here you have SVA. All your things fall into place. Descending a vertical surface, and we have a closed comma here. Typically a rock face or a building using a rope and specialized equipment. Very good. Specialized. So your word form is wrong. This adventure sport is popular amidst thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. What did they say the error was?
Among. Amidst.
Very good. What's the difference between amidst and among? And between. So you see, you are tested in primary school. You have something like, I am the tallest blank my classmates. Then they give you among, between, amidst, along. Remember, we used to break it down for you. So now you have to activate all the things you learn about prepositions, and you know it is among. So it's a prepositional error. What about the next one? Providing an exhilarating way to explore challenging terrains. Abseiling requires proper training and safety precaution. So there you have it. You have one tick here, and you do it this way. Is this very fun? Do you all find it easier than primary school editing? Okay, so it's very fun. You see, 2 minutes, you see whether you can solve the rest or tell us where the next tick is. So the trick here is you must get the ticks correct, because if you don't get the 2 ticks correct, it means you have 4 errors already. 2 wrong ticks and 2 more words in the wrong places. 2 answers that are messed up. That makes 4 errors. Yi Heng raised his hand. Do you want to speak or ask a question? Can we unmute Yi Heng? So remember, it must match line by line here. Okay, so you don't read on every line. Yes, Yi Heng?
I accidentally raised hand.
She
What's your
accidentally raised.
question? Okay, no problem. So have they found the other errors? Quite good. You just type a whole string of them. So let's quickly go on. Abseiling requires proper training and safety precaution. Participants wear a harness that secures them to a static rope anchored to a stable point at the top of the descent. A belay device, often used to control the speed of descent, allows for a controlled and safe descent. Okay, so what's happening here? I think many of them pointed out this one is an error. What about the device thing? Is this correct? A belay device? Helmets or gloves are used to protect participants. Is this the error or this? Is this the error or this? You need safety equipment, right? So here you have and. They are used. Your connector needs to change. Here you have control. So don't worry. At the start, you may have awkward blanks like that. Mavis, correct? Do you
Yes.
have Sec 4s even? They
Yes.
stare and they stare. And then there's 6 blanks out of the 10. So you have to read to protect participants against abrasions. That means scratches and cuts. Descenders use their dominant hand. What is your dominant hand? The one that you are accustomed to using and it's more effective for you to do writing. So some of you are left-handed, some of you right-handed. To control the speed at which they descend, providing a degree of control when maintaining a safe pace. So now we have a problem. Where's the next tick? And where is one error that we missed out? Who can solve this? Who can solve this? Can they find the error?
Precaution.
That's a clue, by the way.
So there is something that is strange here, isn't it? Requires proper training and precautions is the one here. You need a plural. Precaution. So you're very clear that line 10 has no error. You put a tick here, but you must find one more. So you cannot draw 3 ticks. You cannot draw 3 ticks. You lose. I think some teachers have threatened to give 0 if you have 3 ticks because then you're cheating. You're trying to circumvent the instructions. So here is how you get 10 marks. So what we went through just now was paper 2. Paper 1 next year, this is a compulsory part, 10 marks. Okay, situational writing. Okay, I think they might faint now. Situational writing, 30 marks. Essay writing, 30 marks. 70 marks for paper 1. Okay, so any questions?
Don't worry.
Any questions?
Don't worry, all right? Join us
Yeah,
for
don't worry. Join us
even
for
more
all our very
wonderful things like listening comprehension.
Yeah. Yeah. Two.
Yeah.
Along
And
the
laugh
way,
at
we'll
all the
have
experts.
webinars and all that. So just join us and then we'll discuss how to do these components. Okay. Let's see. Okay. How long do you have for paper 1? I usually break it down for my students. 50, 50. 2.
Shall we pull back the document and type somewhere?
Do we have a poll? Sweaty? No. Oh, okay, sure. Okay. Any book recommended for IP school?
It depends on what books. You see, most of your schools
Okay.
decide on their own syllabus. Even if it's the regular school, some schools don't ask you to buy textbooks for English because the teachers would have prepared materials which they think will be useful for you. But they will perhaps ask you to, in your book list, I see very often, you have to buy an editing exercise book, a general English book. Then if in IP, definitely you will have a reading list for literature. All of you will have. So it really depends on the school. But in general, if you want a feel of the kind of things you do, not meaning to scare you, there's something called the 10-year series, the O-level 10-year series. That has all the examples of questions that have been tested for the past 10 years. Papers 1 and 2, including 3 and 4 sometimes, depending on which publisher you go for. So they'll give you a good idea of what editing passages are like, what comprehension passages are like, the kind of situational writing tasks you will see.
Okay. I like history, science, and things like that, right? English, we teach the content we teach is general knowledge. Okay, please take note that it's very important. So we know that many of you don't have time. So oftentimes teachers like teacher Mavis and teacher Mr. Sham will chew and like a mother bird, blah, feed you. Okay, sounds gross, but it's true. Okay, they will do that. They're really like very motherly to you. Okay, and all of us will do that. Okay, so what do you actually do for the bulk of the time? Skills. So when you come to the classroom, right, you're all ready to learn skills. Yeah, correct. So that no matter what ingredients they give you, you know how to cook a dish. Okay, the analogy I use here is cooking, right? Yeah, you go to a cooking course not just to learn to do one thing. You actually learn a set of skills so they can do many, many things. Okay.
Hey, thank you for staying with us for that extra editing bit so that you get, actually that 10 marks is really low hanging fruit in looking at all the components, right? It is a low hanging fruit editing, so let's secure those marks there. Okay, thank you, teachers, for sharing so much with the students today. Thank you, Teacher Coleman, Mr. Sham, and thank you to all of you. Okay, we hope to see you very soon when school starts and you're ready to work hard again. Okay, and we'll see you online. So have a good lunch. Have a good lunch.
All the best.
All the
Yeah,
best.
regardless
Merry
of which
Christmas,
school you are
Happy New Year.
posted to, go with a positive
Yes.
mindset, make new friends, learn well from your new teachers, and enjoy learning.
Yes,
Right.
that's the most important. Okay, thank you everybody. Have a good lunch. Bye bye. Thank you, Sweaty, for supporting us.